Chapter 91. Living Flower 4. Kwang, the outer walls of Serving Command Palace burst open. As soon as I step outside Serving Command Palace, the dry air of the desert and sandstorms greet me. However, compared to the stench of blood inside Serving Command Palace, this feels almost fragrant. Chang. Through the golden hole in the wall of Serving Command Palace that I have penetrated, a crimson mist of blood seeps out. At the center of the blood mist, there, Yuan Lai walks out. How daring. Do you really think you can escape from me? Pat, blood covers Yuan Lai. He begins using his flying escape technique, but I grip my formless sword and accelerate my thoughts. Having reached the Kai building mid-stage, my base consciousness has grown significantly, making the acceleration much faster than before. Pabat, I dash through the air like crazy. Faster than an average core formation cultivator, yet Yuan Lai, covered in blood, slowly closes in on me. A monster-like nascent soul cultivator, I grit my teeth, squeezing out all the energy in my body to escape faster through the air. Yuan Lai frowns. How can I, a nascent soul mid-stage cultivator, not catch up to a mere junior cultivator immediately with my flying escape technique? I sense that the kid's cultivation is at most Kai building mid-stage, second constellation. Of course, his actual skills are far different, reaching core formation and quite a rare talent at that. But even then, it should only be core formation. How can a core formation kid cause me to chase like this? He isn't using any special flying escape technique, but is running through the air at an invisible speed. He can't use flying escape technique, but he's abnormal even when not in core formation. If he reaches core formation, Yuan Lai furrows his brow behind his mask. Annoying brat. Even after embedding 2 blood curse banners in him, he's still so lively. When I refine that soul, I'm excited to see what I can make. I'll definitely take him as my disciple. Yuan Lai licks his lips and forms a spell. Kugagugu, a chilling surge of spiritual energy echoes from behind. The blood mist envelops the desert behind. It's like a blood-red sandstorm covering the desert. I must escape, no hide. But where even the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts don't work? Why didn't the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts work? I think about the fundamental problem. The record is a martial art that cuts through consciousness and hides in the gaps. But I was still discovered. Wait. That nascent soul cultivator targeted me with a spell unaffected by the domain of consciousness. I could barely perceive that spell with the demon senses and vision of intent. Upon reaching the nascent soul, you obtain something that transcends the domain of consciousness. But even though he transcended the domain of consciousness, he can't escape the demon senses and color of intent. I ponder. With a blood-drying feeling, I reach a conclusion. Then, this time, let's cut through other things with the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. I grip the formless sword and focus my consciousness. I see it. Yuan Lai's domain of consciousness, the flow of yin and yang among heaven and earth spiritual energy, the colors of intent. Hu, the sword that splits the realm of consciousness. I expand its range, cutting through the heaven and earth spiritual energy and even the colors of intent. And then, I hide in that gap, Pat. I transcend the limits of the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. Unleashing it with all my might, a martial art that surpasses the record when I hide in that gap. Stop. Yuan Lai, standing there, looks around. It worked. He doesn't discover me immediately like before. It works. If I cut through everything including the heaven and earth spiritual energy and colors of intent, it seems I can even deceive the eyes of a nascent soul cultivator. Oh ho, what's this? You have many tricks up your sleeve. However, I discover a looming danger in my fate. Damn, Kugagugu. The blood mist behind Yuan Lai spreads out in all directions. The record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts is a martial art that cuts the opponent's perception and hides within them, not a spatial movement technique. I look with a rotten expression as Yuan Lai forms a spell at the center of the blood mist. Hide your body all you want. Now try to escape this explosion. Pat, The blood mist glows red and swells. Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Lai, as the power of his spell subsides, looks around. A 3-li radius is completely obliterated, and a huge crater formed in the middle of the desert. Yet Seo Yun Hyun is nowhere to be seen. Yuan Lai laughs behind his translucent mask. I want you even more now. You escaped this. Where his gaze lands, there is a translucent spatial rift. Ah. What did I do? My upper dantian burns. Apart from the gang Kai flowing through my body, forcibly constricting and burning the upper dantian to trigger talent is insane. Why wouldn't the Jin clan use such a great secret technique for improving talent on themselves, but on mortals only? Because meddling with the upper dantian always involves extreme danger. I feel my upper dantian burning as I float somewhere. SSS sock, pot, something pierces my body. My whole body feels even more wrecked, but it doesn't matter. It would have been almost death if caught. What did I do? Whether I die this way or that, with the mentality of being ready to die, I did something. I can barely remember. Ah, right. Young Hoon Hyungnim helped me. The moment the blood mist exploded, young Hoon Hyungnim appeared and danced with his saber next to me, and I saw his footsteps. I followed those footsteps, wielding my sword after young Hoon Hyungnim, entering a strange space for a moment before coming back out. What? As soon as I realize this, I frantically try to remember how I did it. If I can just grasp this clue? Yes, if I can hold onto this clue, maybe. As I tried to recall it while burning my upper dantian with Gang Kai. In front, serving command palace starts to appear. I definitely kept running in the opposite direction of serving command palace before I can settle my doubts. A bloody aura flashes behind me. What? Kwang. Yuan Lai strikes me down. I defend with my formless sword, but still get hit by Yuan Lai and am thrown back into serving command palace, right through the hole I had originally escaped from. Cough, gasp. As I spit out blood and try to grasp the situation, Yuan Lai, who suddenly appears before me, raises a translucent blood-red banner. Quack. Aog. The blood curse banner digs into my upper dantian, forcibly suppressing the processes occurring there. The action of my upper dantian, which had been burning with Gang Kai, normalizes. Cough, gasp. I writhe in even greater pain, clutching my head. Amazing. What technique did you use just now? How could a mere core formation level cultivator imitate a nascent soul cultivator's teleportation ability? Something felt within reach. I clench my teeth and grip the formless sword even tighter. The color of the formless sword transforms into a golden hue, beginning to resemble the surpassing radiant saber, the path pursued by young Hoon Hyungnim, which he used. And then, Pukak. Aog, another banner pierces my upper dantian. The pain scatters my enlightenment. The formless sword dissipates. Yuan Lai looks somewhat nauseated. The 5 Elements Blood Curse banner is originally designed to restrain the consciousness of heavenly being cultivators and prevent their escape. Even a heavenly being cultivator would lose their mind to pain if it were directly implanted. To think that a mere Kai-building cultivator surpasses the willpower of a heavenly being cultivator. I gasp for air through clenched teeth. I vividly feel the pressure from the 4 curses embedded in my soul, but what torments me more than his blood curse banner is something else. I lost the enlightenment. Again, despite being forced by external pressure, I feel indignant and regretful that I couldn't grasp it. Why? Did I return to serving command palace again? Didn't you just teleport randomly? The stupid act of opening a space rift and leaping in without thought, not knowing where you'll fall. A heavenly being cultivator, even roughly, would set coordinates. Without them, you'd be torn apart by spatial currents. It's an act of pure insanity. That's what you did, an act that can only return you to this world by an improbable chance. But you gambled in front of me, who possesses serving command palace. Yuan Lai smirks, pulling out a miniature jade model of serving command palace from his robe. You know that fate has its own attraction? Fate attracts existence. Serving command seal has 2 functions. The first is to grant heaven's fate to the holder. The holder of serving command seal gains powerful fate, and what the holder desires is drawn to them by the attraction of fate. That's why you couldn't escape from me. Heh, heh, heh. What kind of crazy treasure is that? Is that even allowed to exist in this world? It must exist. Actually, the first function of serving command seal was an added feature while its maker was creating the second function. Yuan Lai looks greedily at serving command seal, continuing. Serving command seal was originally created to bestow blessings. How do you think cultivators ascended before Yang Sujin created the golden divine heavenly thunder sect? Wu. As he caresses the serving command seal, it emits multicolored radiance. Before the golden divine heavenly thunder sect, cultivators memorized coordinates of the upper realms and threw themselves into spatial rifts like suicide. Serving command seal blessed them, giving them a fate connected to the upper realms, narrowing the distance to the upper realms. A blessing that bestows the attraction of fate of the upper realms, while also strengthening the holder's fate to grant heavenly fate. That is the serving command seal. I gape at this unbelievable explanation. A mere artifact can grant fate. Suddenly, I remember the lingering presence of Yang Sujin. He said he had bestowed the attraction of fate to Shattered Heaven Peak to attract enders. Even just as a lingering remnant, if true, perhaps cultivators of a certain realm evolve into divine beings controlling the attraction of fate. Chilling. What becomes of someone who reaches the end of cultivation and becomes a true immortal? Before I can dwell on these thoughts, the multicolored radiance from TH serving command seal flows into me and Yuan Lai. He, overflowing with blessings. Did these heavenly being cultivators not receive the serving command seal's blessings this time? He looks satisfied at the serving command seal. They didn't receive the blessing that narrows the distance to the upper realms, just as I'm puzzled. He grabs the back of my neck and drags me into the arboretum. Now then, shall we extend our lifespans? I'm dragged away by Yuan Lai, forming a bitter smile. I thought life was like a flower, but a living flower is a flower plucked while still alive. Perhaps its only existence is to be plucked by someone else. But still, I clench my teeth, even if I'm only to be plucked. Creak, crack. As long as I can, I move my body. I will stand rooted and look up to the sky. Like every tree and flower that roots in the earth and reaches for the sky, as long as the history I've rooted exists, I will not easily break this heart. Crack. What? Quagwang. I swing my formless sword with all my might. At the same time, I cast a spell. Yin Soul Ghost Incantation. Several curses stretch out towards Yuan Lai. TCH, annoying brat. Yuan Lai snorts, causing them to dissipate, but I smile and grip the formless sword again, charging at him. Yuan Lai frowns, watching Seo Yun Haiyan glow before him. He has already implanted 4 of the 5 elements blood curse banners. If he embeds the 5th one, completing the great spell of the 5 elements blood curse banner, the pain inflicted on this peculiar fellow will be multiplied by tens. However, the curse of the 5 elements blood curse banner has a flaw. If the victim can liquefy the curse after all 5 are embedded in their soul, the curse's power will transfer to them. Initially, the curse is transmitted by the giver weakening the banners to 1/100th of their strength and implanting them in the recipient. If the recipient accepts all 5 weakened banners and successfully liquefies them, making them their own, the transmission of the 5 elements blood curse banner is complete. What if he withstands all 5 banners and breaks my control? Suddenly, Yuan Lai realizes he is entertaining an absurd fantasy. No, it's a needless worry. 4 banners might be bearable, but 5 are beyond any living human's endurance. It's just an overestimation caused by this unique fellow's unexpected mental resilience. Yuan Lai thinks, so as he approaches Seo Yun Haiyan with the 5th banner, I'll implant the 5th one, then I need to dissect his brain to understand what kind of powers he wields and how his mind works. Pukak. Yuan Lai scatters aside Seo Yun Haiyan's formless sword and approaches him, embedding the 5th 5 elements blood curse banner. Parat. Inside Seo Yun Hyun's soul, the 5 blood-red banners work in unison according to the logic of the 5 elements, amplifying the mental restriction and pain by tens of times. Ag. Eventually, Seo Yun-hyun, clutching his head, foams at the mouth and collapses. As expected, no human, no living being can endure this pain. Yun-lai smiles, realizing that the peculiar core formation kid's soul has come under his control. Now, let's take this one back to the castle later and examine him, and as for the longevity fruit, it's when Yun-lai turns around. Shiver what? He hastily looks back, shock apparent behind his translucent black mask. Stagger. Seo Yun-hyun, drooling with half-closed eyes, stands up resisting his control, and he begins to form another spell. This is insane. Yun-lai loses his composure. To withstand even this, even a heavenly being cultivator would be affected if directly hit. I even tested it on the Sea Dragon King and got his approval. This kid. Yun-lai gives up on the idea of controlling and taking the kid with him. The 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner is the highest level of mental restriction he knows. If that doesn't work, nothing will. It's no use. Regretfully, I'll have to give up studying his abilities. Better to just synthesize his corpse into my blood body and observe the reaction. It's dangerous. Since he left the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner in his soul, if he let him live, Seo Yun-hyun might liquefy the curse, turn it into his own technique, and attack him someday. Die! Just then, the spell Seo Yun-hyun is casting is completed. Yin, soul, ghost, incantation, chak. Seo Yun-hyun explodes. Yun-lai's original true spell, Bloodwood, strikes Seo Yun-hyun directly, and as Seo Yun-hyun explodes, his blood turns into a bloodwood tree rooting itself in the ground. At the spot where he stood, a crimson tree rises. On the tree blooms a living flower, imbued with Seo Yun-hyun's spiritual power and life force. Such a monster. Yun-lai brushes down his mask, marveling at Seo Yun-hyun's formidable mental strength. Good thing I eradicated him before he could grow stronger and survive longer. No need to worry about him anymore. Now to the longevity fruit, and just as Yun-lai turns towards the longevity tree. What? He grits his teeth in frustration. The fruits of the longevity tree. Numerous fruits, nurtured by the life force of many, are now covered in black curses and completely rotten. That final spell. This brat, he turns around, his face red with anger. I intended to send his soul peacefully to the netherworld, and he dares to do this. Suddenly, Yun-lai's expression changes. Oh, he takes a step back in shock. What's this? I obviously. No, who are you? Pop the next moment, Yun-lai explodes, and in his place blooms a living flower. This is Seo Yun-hyun's 10th return. Chapter 92. 10th Cycle's First Day, Chapter 92. 10th Cycle's First Day blink. I open my eyes and look around. The familiar scent of the forest surrounds me. I died. I didn't expect to survive, but it's frustrating not to have inflicted any significant damage. I guess my final act of cursing the longevity fruits was my last struggle. I click my tongue. Is that the power of a nascent soul cultivator? I recall how Yun-lai's spell engulfed the entire desert like a sandstorm when he used the blood mist. A core formation cultivator being akin to natural disaster. Ridiculous. That is what a real disaster should be. Core formation is merely a stage of mimicking a disaster. I sense my companions gradually awakening around me. I stimulate my consciousness and use a sleeping spell to put them all back to sleep. Then, I realize something odd. Why? Doesn't my upper dantian hurt? I haven't separated my consciousness with the formless sword and have yet to adjust its size. Yet my upper dantian is unharmed. There's no sign of it swelling. What? Ugh, Q-huck? A piercing, sudden headache grips me, and I clutch my head, writhing on the ground. Cough, Q-huck? It feels like my soul is being torn apart. It hurts, so much pain, and then I understand why, how could. In the core of my consciousness, where my soul resides, there 5 blood-red flags are embedded. Earg? The 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner left by Yun-lai. It has followed me through my return, remaining in my soul. Ook. Thankfully, after a while of rampaging and tearing through my soul, the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner gradually quiet down and begin to settle, after a while. Who? The outburst of the 5 elements blood curse banner finally ceases and I can finally get up. This is insane. I suddenly feel a chill crawl up my spine. Return isn't invincible. I should have realized that my consciousness and soul are maintained through each return. The restraints connected to my consciousness and soul return with me. Have I been too complacent until now? If a high-level cultivator intentionally brainwashes me or imposes a restraint on my consciousness, that restraint will continue after my return. In other words, if I ever fall into the hands of a high-level cultivator, I could become their slave for eternity. What to do about this 5 elements blood curse banner? If the 5 elements blood curse banner that returned with me is connected to Yuan Lai, he might have noticed by now in the heaven-treading desert. I should be safe for a few days at least. But considering Yuan Lai is a nascent soul cultivator who only emerged after waiting for the heavenly being cultivators to ascend, he wouldn't dare show his face at this point when the world is still filled with heavenly being cultivators. Maybe I should ask the arriving heavenly being cultivators to take a look. If I ask Sir Chang-ho, given his character, he might at least check it out once. Holding on to that hope, I first find some yellow bamboo roots and undergo complete transformation. Creak, crack. Harmony settles in my upper, middle, and lower dantian, and my physical body evolves to effortlessly contain the greater consciousness. Now even the slight headache has disappeared. I observe my consciousness and upper dantian once again. However, this 5 elements blood curse banner. If not for Yuan Lai's mental restraint, it would be quite useful in the early stages of return. The 5 elements blood curse banner suppresses my consciousness, preventing my upper dantian from swelling. Thanks to this, I don't have to separate my consciousness to avoid headaches at the beginning of my return. With just the formless sword and the 5 elements blood curse banner, the overload of my upper dantian caused by consciousness is completely resolved. Then, let's. First, I carry my companions and take them to a cave. After that, I cast a stronger sleeping spell and observe my consciousness, deep within my consciousness, inside my soul. There, 5 blood-red flags are implanted. I scrutinize with the demon senses. The flow of yin and yang energy from the 5 flags is suppressing my consciousness through mutual reinforcement. However, the yin and yang spiritual energy is not connected to a distant place. The same is true for the intent. The intent of another flows, but it is gradually scattering and not particularly connected externally. For now, it seems Yuan Lai is not connected to it. Even the remnants of his intent are slowly dispersing, and my intent is taking over where his is scattering. I wonder, will Yuan Lai's intent completely disappear when it scatters? Judging by the speed, it seems it will all dissipate soon. But I have an ominous feeling about the intent flowing through the restraint. It's my intent, but it doesn't listen to me. The intent flowing over the restraint moves according to its own logic, not mine, contributing to the suppression of my own consciousness. Woong. As I try to move with my consciousness and dual energy sword control, the 5 elements blood curse banner vibrates, pressuring my consciousness. Ugh. Moving my consciousness any further seems like it will bring the pain of my soul being torn again. Moving consciousness greatly is restricted by the blood curse banner. Fortunately, during the last moments of my past life. When I was in front of Yuan Lai, even moving my body was restricted. But now, perhaps because Yuan Lai's intent is dispersing, there is no pain unless I move my consciousness significantly. I need to at least alleviate the restraint. Observing the flow of the restraint, I wait for Yuan Lai's intent to completely disperse. After all traces of him are gone, I carefully examine the restraint. I observe the blood curse banner and soon understand the fundamental principle it is based on. A restraint interpreting human consciousness as the 5 elements. If it isn't for my complete mastery of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation and understanding of 5 elements spiritual energy, I wouldn't have been able to discern the fundamental principle of the restraint so easily. Interesting. Of course, spiritual energy, consciousness, and soul aren't exactly the same, So even though I have mastered the 5 elements and understand a bit of the logic of 5 elements spiritual energy, I can't instantly dismantle the restraint. But if I understand this method of corresponding the 5 elements to human consciousness, as I'm interpreting the symbols of the 5 elements blood curse banner, wait, I suddenly realize these symbols are very familiar to me. I realize the basis of the 5 elements blood curse banner. Curse spell. A spell that maximizes others' pain and suppresses the opponent. These symbols are quite similar to the curse symbols of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. That's right. A spell interpreting the human mind as the 5 elements, and finding the pain each element can inflict on the human mind. That is the true nature of the 5 elements blood curse banner. Chalalalak. Understanding the basis of the 5 elements blood curse banner, I realize I can interfere with the 5 elements blood curse banner implanted in my soul with my consciousness. Human mind is the 5 elements. The realization I had when I understood the gang sphere, that I am not just myself, and similar to how the 5 elements are interdependent, the mind is also made up of different parts. Woo. My intent slowly moves, manipulating the 5 elements blood curse banner. The 5 elements blood curse banner, deeply embedded in my soul, begins to move and gradually surface above my soul. Push it out. Pat, my consciousness is returning. The size of my previous consciousness is gradually coming back, allowing me to move it as I will. I raise my consciousness, which had been uncomfortably suppressed by the 5 elements blood curse banner, like a body stretching after being stuck somewhere. It feels like I can live a little again. However, click. My consciousness entangles again in the 5 elements blood curse banner while trying to rise, regaining only about 70% of its mobility. At this point, I open my eyes. Is there something more I need to do to completely release the metal restriction? With over 70% of consciousness regained, there's almost no discomfort. I can even move the remaining 30% if I endure the pain, so I'm not worried. However, no matter how much I try to push out the 5 elements blood curse banner further, it does not disappear. Something is missing. Damn that Bloodwood. He left me a troublesome legacy. At this point, I stop researching the mental restraint and decide to leave the rest to Sir Chang-ho and others. If Sir Chang-ho can't do it, after listening to the will of Song-jin remaining in the Nether crossing ship, I'll have to ask him for help. After all, being the remnant soul of a heavenly being cultivator, he must know a lot and surely have a solution. Wo-woong. I calm my consciousness and open my eyes again. The sun is setting. After looking at my sleeping colleagues, I fall into thought. What is fate? Fate, as mentioned by the remnant shadow of Yang Soo-jin from Shattered Heaven Peak. Fate, as realized by Kim Young-hoon. Fate, as explained by Yuan Lai after obtaining the serving command seal. Mad Lord mentioned that fate indeed exists. It also seems possible to interfere with fate to some extent upon reaching the top of cultivation. And the Ender, the last life, when I saw the remnant shadow of Yang Soo-jin. Despite becoming a being who can interfere with fate, even Yang Soo-jin ended up like that. Is something overseeing the entire 3,000 worlds looking for the Enders? What is the Ender, and what is this world? I look up at the sky where the sunset is giving way to the stars. Then, I suddenly get the feeling that these stars are watching over the land like eyes and shudder. Damn, I'm overthinking. The idea of each star being an eye is as creepy as it gets. I shake my head. I've been through too much in my past life. Ascending to Kai Building, realizing beyond the path to heaven, capturing Song Jin with Co Ran, watching over his death, learning the Nether crossing ship steering method, learning about serving Command Palace. Kim Young-hoon dying after seeing the path above beyond the path to heaven. Spending several hundred years inside serving Command Palace, then being killed by the nascent soul cultivator Yuan Lai. It seems my mind is unstable due to experiencing too much for too long. I calm my throbbing head and sigh. I look back at the sleeping Kim Young-hoon. I remember the him from my last life. He told me to live a bit more like a human. Yes, maybe taking it easy in this life isn't such a bad idea, living life like a human. Forget serving Command Palace fate, ender, and take some rest. Especially after the last life, tortured in soul by Yuan Lai, the desire for rest seems more urgent. This life, I should hear from the heavenly being cultivators about the 5 elements blood curse banner and take it easy to recover my mental health. With that thought, I slowly circulate my internal energy with the night air. Wo Woon, gradually an inner core forms in my dantian. My whole body tingles pleasantly as if letting out a satisfying burp. And then, Kung Kung. Not long after forming my inner core, a white behemoth approaches from beyond the forest. I frown slightly at the figure who interrupted my contemplation. Kung Hugh. What kind of demon beast dares to enter my forest? Master of the forest. A core formation demon fox living in Ascension Path. Seeing it, I first politely address it. I was accidentally swept into a spatial rift and landed here. The creature, after all, has been somewhat gentlemanly so far, retreating after taking just one arm and showing some manners. Please be merciful and allow me to stay in this forest for a few days. I will also maintain my manners to the end. You beast, stop talking nonsense. If you want to stay in my forest, you have to offer your limbs. Master of the forest, I beseech you, please let me stay. How dare you, a member of the demon race, enter another's territory uninvited and ask for mercy? Master of the forest, I apologize for the rudeness. I beseech you one last time, please. Enough. Hand over your demon core, intruder. Kwang, the fox raises its front paw to strike me down. Wham. What? And then I raise my formless sword to fend off its paw. Sigh. I've pleaded 3 times. Isn't 3 times enough patience? I was a bit worried, actually. It would have been somewhat unfair if this damned creature had unexpectedly retreated in a gentlemanly manner. But it seems there's no big difference this time as well. Today is a dog-eating day, you filthy fox. I stare straight at the fox and smile brightly. Feeling the momentum of my formless sword, the fox flinches. Maybe I've been waiting for this day all along. Shall we start fox hunting? Kugagugu, I put my colleagues into a deeper sleep with a sleeping spell and take a step towards the fox. It's going to be a long night. Fox hunting swoosh, a leaf flutters down in the wind, and I make the first move. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Kai mountain heaven sky. My formless sword instantly enlarges and plunges down onto the fox's head. Our eyes meet briefly in a split second. Red intent targets me from all directions. A flurry of white claws follow the intent, rushing towards me. A direct hit will tear my body, now reduced to a mortal's level from Kai building, to pieces. However, whoosh, 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 holding the formless sword, I move with formless trajectories and footwork. Mountain Lord's soaring flight, quang, quang, quang. My formless sword strikes down on the fox, scattering its attacks around. A dust cloud rises, and from its center a hot wind blows, dispersing the dust. This bastard, the fox, marked with sword scars, displays its fury towards me, who is unscathed. There's no reason not to avoid it when I can see all the trajectories. Instead of responding to the fox's anger, I retract my formless sword and take the stance of the severing vein saber method. If a cultivator uses spells to dominate the space around them, turning the environment into one for themselves, a martial artist understands the space around them and adapts themselves to fit the environment. The surrounding trees, leaves falling from the trees. The breathing of my sleeping colleagues, heartbeats, the spiritual energy, strength, heartbeat, and the sounds between the muscles felt from the fox. Focus more. Insects crawling on the ground, dewdrops falling at the first clash between me and the fox. The wary breathing of the fox, the sound of my own heartbeat. Grasping all this information, I find the optimal path and transform my formless sword into the optimal shape. Severing vein saber method, mountain wind. The formless sword becomes a gust of wind, shooting towards the fox's heart. An attack too fast to react to, Sayat. Leaves falling between me and the fox are all sliced by the formless sword, which then reaches the fox's chest. In an instant, the fox's consciousness compresses into a shape identical to itself, enveloped in white rays. Kuu guang guang guang. It didn't penetrate. The formless sword fails to pierce the fox. The core formation fox's hide indeed has significant defensive power, further enhanced by the fox's unique ability. Yet, unable to withstand the formless sword's power, the fox is pushed back and flies into the sky. Bang. I kick off the air and rise in front of the fox, lifting my formless sword. Oh-woo, the fox howls. Thousands of fire foxes appear around it, transforming into clones identical to the white fox. Hundreds and thousands of these clones surround me, all rushing in at once. Pointless. I don't waste my strength and use intent and demon senses to identify the real body, then swing my formless sword at it. Severing mountain swordsmanship layered mountains, mountain echoes valley responds. 9 mountains 8 sees the formless sword stretches out, entangling the real fox, hitting it with wave-like forms, then slices in all directions. The clones rush at me, but reading the optimal flow among numerous paths, I dodge them all. The clones, targeting each other, eventually run out of strength and vanish. The fox, battered by my formless sword, uses another ability, Squeak. A flash seems to sparkle, and the scenery before me changes. Within a burst of white light, I hear moans and excited breaths from all directions, and a sensation of ecstasy begins to seep into my body. An illusion? I smirk, raising my hand to grasp the void. How trivial! Crash, I connect to the core of the formless sword. I feel my heart essence. The pain of life perceived in those heart essence. The sharpness as if my whole body is buried in transparent blades. The pain wakes my mind, shattering the illusion before it can fully unfold. During that brief moment, the fox seems to have hidden itself, vanishing from sight. Severing mountain swordsmanship, landscape painting? Shaya, the formless sword extends in all directions, disturbing the surroundings. And then, the fox, which has been hiding and waiting for an opportunity, reveals itself again, preparing to cast another spell. Severing mountain swordsmanship, flowing ridge, quang, I dash forward like a dart, smoothly stabbing at the fox. Kuang, a burst of white light erupts from the fox's mouth, facing off against me. I immediately change my stance. The trajectory of the formless sword also changes as the sword move unfolds. Severing mountain swordsmanship, ascending vein, Quang. The formless sword rises from below, striking the fox's jaw. Quang. The white beam explodes inside the fox's mouth, engulfing its head in a flash of light. Yet it seems the fox is not significantly harmed as it wraps light around its 3 tails and swing them at me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, echoing valley. I surround myself with the flow of the formless sword, capturing the fox's attack and returning the force back to it. Quang. Another explosion echoes as the fox is thrown back. Kra, enraged, the fox howls as it falls, scattering white flashes in all directions and collapsing the surrounding terrain. Its form of consciousness further compresses into a shape identical to itself. Looks like you're getting a bit heated up. I smile, revealing my teeth. Let's see who wins. Surrounded by hundreds and thousands of threads of intent, I glare at the fox, and it glares back at me. The fox, surrounded by white light, charges at me. The speed of a core formation cultivator's flying escape technique, no. Combining the natural speed of the demon fox, it's much faster and more ferocious than any ordinary core formation cultivator. Severing mountain swordsmanship, joy of mountains and peaks. Thousands of crossing formless trajectories block the fox. The fox howls, and thousands of firefoxes fill the surroundings again. This time, the trajectory of the firefoxes seem much faster and more complex, rushing towards me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff. The formless sword envelops me, turning defense and offense into one, shredding the surroundings. Severing mountain swordsmanship, flowing ridge. I hold the formless sword and cross numerous threads of intent, stabbing at the fox. The fox, seemingly enraged, starts to wildly thrash about in an attempt to capture me. With a swipe of its front paw, a mountain in front crumbles, and the energy from its tail evaporates a river behind. Severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain and valley transformation. I shoot the formless sword into the ground, warping the terrain around me. My will transforms the landscape, dropping the fox into a deep pit. Swoosh! The fox drains its energy and conjures several white spears around it, shooting upwards from the pit. Severing mountain swordsmanship, 108 lights emerging peak, layered mountains. The formless sword splits into 108 parts, overlapping the move of layered mountains, creating 108 colorless thorny boulders inside the pit, shredding the fox's spell. Severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain tiger. The colorless thorny rocks formed by the formless sword concentrate in an instant and plunge into the fox. Quang, an explosion echoes from the pit. Between the clouds of dust, a burst of white light explodes and the fox struggles fiercely. Cra-ow. The light gathers, forming the shape of a fox tens of meters large. The mountain-sized fox raises its head from the pit and opens its mouth towards me. I intuitively guess that this is the most powerful ability the fox can wield. Is this the end? I look at the fox with a cold face and sneer. Compared to the monsters of nascent soul, this is cute. Whoosh! The gigantic fox charges towards me. The energy inside it boils. If it explodes, even an ordinary core formation cultivator will not stand a chance whether it hits or misses. But I smile bitterly, holding my stance and facing the white light. Severing mountain swordsmanship, ultimate move. Severing mountain, Kugagugu. The ultimate move of severing mountain swordsmanship is unleashed. The formless sword explodes, and the sword moves from the 1st to 21st are used in an instant. Powered by the 21st move, Heavenly Lake, the energy gathered from the previous 20 moves pour towards the fox's spell, causing an explosion of white and colorless light. When the light subsides, across the distance, the fox and I lock eyes. I regain my momentum and take the stance of transcending peaks. Severing mountain swordsmanship, 23rd move endless mountains beyond mountains. As my depleted energy returns, I am ready to unleash the ultimate strike again. The fox seems to recognize my momentum as its eyes are filled with panic. KR, Kruk? The fox howls again. White flashes shoot towards me from all around, but their number and power are significantly less than before. Severing mountain swordsmanship, transcending peaks, entering mountain, ascending vein, flowing ridge. Mountain echoes valley responds, 8 mountains 9 seas, heavenly lake. Severing mountain. Once again, the ultimate move of severing mountain swordsmanship is executed through the formless sword, and the fox, terrified, barely evades the concentrated power of severing mountain. You bastard. How can you continuously perform such techniques? I silently maintain endless mountains beyond mountains, gathering strength again. 38 times. That is the number of times I can unleash the ultimate move of severing mountain swordsmanship through endless mountains beyond mountains. Exceeding that will strain my body beyond endurance, leading to death. Of course, lying in bed for a day or two after using endless mountains beyond mountains is inevitable. But considering that, I can now use an attack that rivals the fatal blow that the core formation demon fox had unleashed with all its might. 38 times in a row. Qua 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 quang, severing mountain split. The fox is thrown down. The severing mountain swordsmanship executed through the formless sword has reached its true potential, living up to its name, a technique that cuts and splits mountains. You bastard, get away. After enduring 3 severing mountains, the fox can no longer bear it and starts to retreat from me. Whoosh. Numerous fire foxes rise in the air again, and I slash through them all with the formless sword, rushing towards the fox. Amidst the explosion of white and colorless trajectories, I surpass numerous flows and blasts, striking the fox once more with severing mountain. Quang. A flash of light spreads out, and a hill behind the fox is split in 2. The fox, barely evading severing mountain, gasps for breath and begins to flee rapidly. Woong. Applying a martial arts technique I learned from Kim Young-hoon in my past life, I fuse the formless sword directly into my arm. In that state, I chase after the fox and grab its tail. Then with the arm fused with the formless sword, I swing it forcefully. Kuo-wuo, the body of the house-sized fox is lifted into the air. Kwang! I fling the fox far into a distant mountain. It pierces through 3 mountain peaks and the fox screams. Kiik! Kwang thump. Once again, I fuse momentarily with the formless sword and fly, kicking the fox's jaw. The shockwave alone makes the fox roll its eyes, and a web-like crack forms on the mountain peak behind it. I bring my finger to my lips. Be quiet. Ki-kek. In front of the master of the forest, what disgrace are you showing? I speak, gripping the fox's head. The fox looks at me trembling in fear, and I slam its head into the ground with the power of the formless sword. Now I am the master of this forest. Shut your mouth and show respect. Ku-kwang, ku-kwang. Several times I grab the fox's head and slam it into the ground. Each time the earth trembles and dust clouds rise. Despite all this core formation demon fox is still not dead. It indeed has incredible vitality. Let's make you vomit out everything inside your belly. I grab the back of the fox's neck, lift it once more, and throw it into a valley created by the split mountain. Kwa-kwang, I follow up and keep hammering the beast into the valley floor with the formless sword. Keek! I said be quiet. Quack again, I grab its scruff. Now then. Keek-kek. Save me. Let's see if fox orbs really exist. Woong holding the formless sword, I raise it high. The fox, terrified, howls. Eek, are you going to kill me? Whoosh. The fox's tail begins to blaze with bright light, seemingly using a spell that draws upon its origin, as its aura surges once again. However, I calmly swing down the formless sword I have raised. Ku-kwa-kwang. The valley shakes once more as the fox is hammered into the ground. Yet, I furrow my brow, noticing that only a single strand of white fox fur remains where the fox had been, indicating it used an ability to swap its body at the last moment. It's an unusual technique indeed, but it hasn't escaped far. A white light is seen flying off in the distance. I hold the formless sword and chase after the fox that burned its tail as it fled. Faster, even faster, I accelerate, relentlessly pursuing the fox. Gradually, I close the distance between us. The fox, turning back with eyes filled with terror, shout, "Hi, Hiek, don't chase me." "Go away, you monster." "Who are you calling a monster?" Kuang, I swing the formless sword, and the fox, pale with fear, narrowly dodges it again. "You human-eating fox monster, go away. Just go, coo. A small valley forms where the fox had dodged. The fox clenches its teeth and speeds away even faster, and I follow. It's the reverse of our past life. Previously, the fox had chased me, but now I am the one hunting the fox. Kung. As I unleash the formless sword, several hills fly away, and the fox frantically dodges the attacks. We pass numerous mountains and rivers, covering a quarter of the ascension path in our chase. The fox is caught several times but manages to escape using its bizarre tail-burning technique. After a while, the white light burning from the fox's tail begins to fade. Above a small lake, the fox finally stops, gasping for breath as it looks at me. With an expressionless face, I hold the formless sword and approach the fox. Stop. Please stop. I beg for mercy." The fox pleads, gasping for breath. Throughout several lifetimes, this creature had torn off my arm. My arm throbs with pain, partly due to the effects of endless mountains beyond mountains, but also due to the unpleasant memories associated with the fox. Spare me. If you spare me, I will recognize and obey you as the master of this forest. Please spare my life. The fox grovels before me, begging for its life, and I approach and kick its belly. Kiek! Once again, it screams and spits out blood as it falls. Now the fox is covered in blood. In contrast, I am unscathed, not even a single tear on my clothing. I have reached such a level where I can hunt the fox. Spare me. I look down at the pitifully begging fox indifferently. The fox has always told me that if I wanted to stay in the forest, I would have to offer a limb. Do you wish to live in my forest? Vomit out the demon core. Do that and I'll spare you. Gah! The fox grimaces in pain, but I just look down at it impassively. Though I have always suffered because of this creature, I have never been directly killed by it. This is mercy. After writhing in agony for a while, the fox clenches its eyes shut and opens its mouth. Cough, cough, pfft. The fox retches a few times, and soon, a fist-sized, brightly shining core emerges from its mouth. The fox's spiritual essence and power are concentrated in this demon core, the source that has kept it as a demon fox. I catch the demon core floating in the air. The fox's eyes, once sharp with intelligence, dull as the demon core containing its essence is removed. Simultaneously, the fox's body shrinks. The consciousness of the core formation demon fox diminishes and retreats into its skull. The fox, having vomited the demon core, turns back into a normal animal, though its body still bears 3 tails due to the physical transformation it had undergone. For a moment, the fox looks at me dumbly, then it glances at the demon core in my hand with a covetous gaze. However, as I frown, it whimpers like a neighborhood puppy and scampers off into the distance. The monstrous fox that had torn off my arm in 10 lifetimes is no more. Only a small, peculiar fox with 3 tails remains, lost and fleeing. I watch the small fox running away for a moment, then I hold the demon core and return to where my companions are. Thus, another fate is overcome. I smile lightly and head towards my companions, floating through the air. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. After 10 lifetimes, I have finally gained the strength early in life to defeat the fox that had threatened me. I laugh until tears form, looking at my companions, still deeply asleep under my sleep spell. Maybe now I can take my companions outside Ascension Path. If we can leave without being detected by the heavenly being cultivators, perhaps. Maybe we can all live this life together. I smile, massaging my body. Using endless mountains beyond mountains in my current state, where I can only use 70% of my consciousness, is enough to defeat the fox. Once I resolve the 5 elements blood curse banner and can use all my consciousness, I might be able to defeat the fox without resorting to endless mountains beyond mountains. If only I can quickly recover my cultivation, I can increase the output of Gang QI and easily defeat the fox. I have spent over 200 years with Gang Kai coursing through my veins. Now, this body, with only blood flowing through its veins, feels awkward. First, I need to recover my body, slowly regain my cultivation, and find out how to absorb the power contained in the demon core. I decide to first use spiritual herbs to soothe my body, aching from using endless mountains beyond mountains, and turn my attention away from my companions, just as I turn to look for herbs. Whoosh, a rough, wrinkled hand grabs my head. No matter how I look at it, this is so fascinating I could die. What in the world is this? A hunchback old man with eyes full of madness grabs my head while lifting the corners of his mouth in a smile. Translator notes, this is going to be the longest and most tumultuous cycle yet. Prepare yourself. Chapter 93. Lotus 1, Chapter 93. Lotus 1, shudder, I'm frozen, unable to do anything. This isn't just a metaphorical expression, but literally the energy throughout my body hardens and I lose strength independently of my will. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Such clarity and transparency, and the clear heart essence that protrudes outward. Swinging it around, did you defeat the core formation demon beast using that? And what is this, a mental restraint, mad lord? This crazy old man is fiddling with my head, examining me. It's so strange. How can such a human being exist? What are you? Are you really human? Or a special kind of demon beast in human form, hunting a core formation demon beasts due to the uniqueness of his consciousness, but the person himself isn't at the core formation stage. Just a mere mortal without any spiritual energy. Yet, the consciousness is at the late stage of Kai building. He looks at me curiously, examining me from every angle. Damn it. Why has this guy appeared already? I ponder the reason. If I think about it, the heavenly being cultivators and others like the Sea Dragon King all came from different directions. But the Mad Lord always flew in from the direction of the Ascension Gate. Maybe the Mad Lord arrived at the Ascension Gate earlier than any other heavenly being cultivator, and only came after Manager Kim awoke her consciousness. Then, do I have to assume that this guy has been attached to the direction of the Ascension Gate since the beginning of the regression? Perhaps he came to watch me fight due to the commotion of my fight with the fox, observing me and my unique form of consciousness. Then it happens. While reading the Mad Lord's intent, I am able to glimpse his heart essence. Ugh. I silently mutter a chant upon sensing the darkness in his heart essence. His heart essence is a withered tree. The blackened, withered tree rooted in the darkness, without a single ray of light. Only a thin, pinkish life force remains in the withered tree, barely supporting it, and it seems to collapse at any moment. Each time the withered tree is about to fall, the madness in the Mad Lord's eyes seems to flare up. The darkness and dampness felt from the withered tree, and its pain makes even me furrow my brows. Although it's less disgusting than the Bloodwood practitioner, the dark despair is of a greater magnitude. Such a rotten heart. It's when I was observing the Mad Lord's heart essence, I suddenly catch his gaze. I'm startled. When I'm observing the Mad Lord's heart essence, he seems to realize I'm looking at him and trembles. What? You? There's a hint of panic in his eyes. The energy holding my body releases, and I'm able to speak. Did you read my heart essence? Did you just read my heart essence? While we are staring blankly at each other, Mad Lord suddenly bursts into crazy laughter. Ha ha ha. You see it. I don't know what you did to achieve it, but you can see heart essence too, right? What? I can only open my mouth in astonishment. Did that mean the Mad Lord also reached beyond the path to heaven? However, I had observed the Mad Lord's behavior several times. He showed no signs of having learned martial arts. To reach beyond the path to heaven, I practiced martial arts for hundreds of years. As someone who honed martial arts for that long of a time, there are some things I learned to recognize and learn. According to my observations, the Mad Lord is neither a martial artist nor has he honed martial skills. Ha ha ha, amazing. Really amazing. Another being with the same vision as me exists in this world. I thought I'd have to ascend to a higher realm to meet such a person. I'm very pleased. Crack. He grabs my head. It isn't a cultivation spell or technique, but simply manipulating the heaven and earth spiritual energy unique to the heavenly being stage. Then, the Mad Lord's consciousness invades mine. Damn it. I really like you. I'll welcome you into my world and evolve you into a more superior being. Studying you will bring me one step closer to reuniting with her. Shudder. I feel goosebumps all over my body. This man is planning on turning me into his puppet. The consciousness of the heavenly being cultivator, filled with madness, is invading my mind. I begin to lose control of my body. Just then. Whoosh! Inside my upper dantian, deep within my soul, a blood-red light Aries and the 5 elements blood curse banner begins to react. Rumble, 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 the blood-red light, embodying the transformation of the 5 elements, drives out the Mad Lord's consciousness. Ugh! An immense pain wraps around my mind, but due to the pain, my consciousness remains clear. The 5 elements blood curse banner both suppresses and protects my consciousness. The Mad Lord furrows his brows and then releases me. Oh, where have I seen this spell before? Ah, yes. That curse used by the snake-like fellow in the heaven-treading desert, right? He looks into my eyes and asks, "What's your relationship with that core formation kid from the heaven-treading desert?" That is. No, never mind. The Mad Lord doesn't listen to me and grabs my head again, chuckling. I'll find out on my own. What's the point of talking with someone who hasn't evolved into a superior being yet? Crack again. His consciousness invades my mind. Simultaneously, the 5 elements blood curse banner is stimulated. I am engulfed in excruciating pain. Then, the Mad Lord activates some sort of technique. Flicker, flicker. Blue spell symbols appear in the air and suddenly fly off towards a direction away from Ascension Gate. Is that a curse? Having learned the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, I recognize the type of those spell symbols. The Mad Lord uses the energy emitted by my 5 elements blood curse banner to trace back to its origin and sends a curse in that direction. Is it not related to that core formation youngster? The roots are the same, but the reaction isn't strong. Ah, right. They're probably from the same sect as that core formation youngster. Haha, as expected, I'm a genius. Isn't that right, my wife? Thank you, you are truly beautiful. The Mad Lord mumbles to himself, then reaches out into the empty air, caressing it as if touching a beloved. I thought there might be something, but I couldn't sense anything with demon senses, the flow of intent or heart essence. It seems like just an imaginary person in the Mad Lord's mind. Damn it, to be caught by this crazy old man. Do I have to be captured like this? I grit my teeth in front of the lunatic, gazing distantly into the air with madness. Then an idea crosses my mind. Senior, I have something to report. The core formation youngster you mentioned, the one called Bloodwood Practitioner, is actually a disguised nascent soul. He's waiting for the heavenly being cultivators to ascend, then plans on devouring this world. Isn't it unwise to leave such an ambitious person unchecked? Ah, are you talking about the treaty made under Cohweal's initiative? The Mad Lord seems to come back to his senses and looks at me. But so what? Even if his heart essence is filthy, Cohweal or others will take care of it. Senior, if your relatives or clan are abused by the Bloodwood Practitioner, will it not be regrettable? Ah, clan ka, the Mad Lord chuckles and says, I eradicated my clan with my own hands hundreds of years ago. Why should I worry about it? What? I am at a loss for words in my confusion. Mad Lord's eyes, speaking of his clan, are somehow filled with anger. His eyes, filled with rage, appear clear, devoid of madness. The only being meaningful to me was her. The clan that killed her no longer exists on this earth. Why should I worry about such things? I peer into the Mad Lord's heart essence. The darkness in his heart essence deepens, boiling as if alive. But thank you. It's been a while since I've thought about those detestable things. Tap, tap. He taps his head a few times. His eyes, full of rage, are seemingly clear of madness. Anyway, if you possess the same spell as that core formation kid, does that mean he might have something similar to you if I delve deeper? The Mad Lord strokes his chin and then extends his hand into the air. Flicker. A blue light flashes in the air, recalling the curse he had just launched. Simultaneously, flash, the curse lights up. Yes, first I should extract his soul and study it. Now that I think about it, that core formation kid's consciousness was quite large. Creak. He grasps the air tightly. The blue curse begins to turn red as if soaked in blood just then. Mad Lord looks up at the sky, rumble, rumble. Dark clouds gather in the sky and raindrops begin to fall. His gaze turns to the deputy manager, Ohio. What's this now? Summoning the wind and rain is the power of the Sea Dragon tribe. Why is that girl using it? Also, flash, boom. A streak of blue lightning strikes, and suddenly, a fine young man in blue robes with a kind smile and a dignified air enters the scene. Who is this? Isn't this the Scorpion Snake King, Cohweal? Ha, I heard he was planning to come late, but why rush here so crazily? Ha, mad old man. The reason for my delayed start was because there's a child in my tribe who needs to stay in the lower realm. I was going to take care of him, but after talking, I realized he's strong enough to forge his own path. Enough with the small talk, get to the point. Crack. Mad Lord tightens his grip on the air. The curse he had cast turns even redder. Cohweal smiles kindly and speaks. Mad old man, don't intimidate these young ones. Why don't you release the one you're holding and ease up on those you're tormenting? So you rushed here because that core formation youngster from the desert is about to die. What are you scheming, you snake-like man? Mad old man, as a senior, isn't it unseemly to torment the weak? Let's release them and stop this now. Whoosh. Cohweal also reaches out and twists the air, and the curse that had turned red gradually shifts back to blue. Is Yuan Lai currently being strangled in the grasp of heavenly being cultivators? No matter if Ascension Path lies above the heaven-treading desert, the distance to the Black Castle where Yuan Lai would be is hundreds of miles. Yet they cross it instantly and are now fighting over him. This is the power of a heavenly being cultivator. It would be wise to stop now, considering the unexpected calamity that has already injured him. Whoosh! The curse cast by Mad Lord begins to fade. It's clear that Mad Lord is being overpowered by COH we all. Mad Lord chuckles and pulls out a small wooden box from his waist. Boom! The box enlarges and falls beside the Mad Lord. So you think my true power is inferior to yours and dare mock me? Fine, shall we have a go? COH we all's expression stiffens for a moment, but then returns to normal. Mad old man, how about we save such uninteresting discussions for after Ascension? The Ascension Gate will open in a few days. Wouldn't it be better to avoid such actions during this auspicious time? Instead of engaging in such inauspicious activities, why not talk a little about these talented individuals here? COH we all smiles kindly and pats Deputy Manager Ohio and my shoulders with one hand each. Unable to bear it any longer, I vomi. Ugh, I haven't eaten anything, so nothing came up but bile. Still, it was repulsive. No, it's more than just revolting. The darkness is beyond imagination. Insane, how can this be a normal being's heart essence? The Mad Lord's heart essence is a blackened, withered tree, but COH we all's heart essence, seen after reaching beyond the path to heaven, is even worse. While the Mad Lord's withered tree has a thread-like vitality, COH we all's heart essence lacks any hint of hope. Everything is dark, dreary, revolting, and filthy. Beyond heartless and shameless, his heart essence seems like a monster wearing a human mask. Evil, he is the embodiment of endless malice, a vast darkness incomparable even to Yuan Lai. That is COH we all. Oh my, mad old man. Look, the young ones can't withstand the aura of heavenly being cultivators and are suffering. COH we all says to the Mad Lord, looking pitifully at me vomiting. However, the Mad Lord chuckles knowingly, as if he understands why I am vomiting. Haha, what a masterpiece. Do you think he's retching because of our aura? Maybe he's nauseous from seeing something so disgusting. I feel like vomiting every time I see your face, so what about these fragile juniors? You broken monster. I never quite understand what you're saying. Anyway, since this junior seems to catch your fancy, mad old man, why not take him as your disciple? As for this young lady, she resonates with my bloodline and wields a unique power, so I intend to welcome her into the Sea Dragon tribe. You snake-like man, always changing the subject. What are you scheming with that core formation youngster from the desert, you filth? Creak. The Mad Lord begins to open the lid of the box. With the absence of other heavenly being cultivators and facing the Sea Dragon King alone, he shows no hesitation in opening it. Mad Lord, are you truly intending to bring down Ascension Path? If getting rid of one Ascension Path can clean up filth, it's not a bad deal. Even if there's trouble with the Ascension Gate, there's always the blessing of the Serving Command Seal, so what's the problem? Creak, click. And then the Mad Lord's box fully opens. The next moment, many things burst out of the Mad Lord's box. The Sea Dragon King is seen casting spells in haste, just then. What slosh? I look around in confusion. Water. It's water. The entire Ascension Path is suddenly covered in water. Both I and my colleagues are caught off guard by the sudden flood over Ascension Path, opening our eyes wide and floundering. Roarer, the water is not just there idly. There are currents in the water, and my colleagues and I are scattered in all directions in an instant. What's happening? Mad Lord opened the box, and COH we all had done something as well, as I try to make sense of the situation. Ha 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 ha, celestial energy resounds, and Mad Lord's voice spreads throughout the water, to perform such a water technique in a place without water. Truly, you are the Sea Dragon King. Are you trying to protect Ascension Path from crumbling? I haven't even released half of my heavenly being puppets, and only 8 of her limbs. Do you really think the entire Sea Dragon tribe can handle me and her rumble? I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. The celestial energy boils of its own accord, reacting to the power of Mad Lord and COH we all. Is the entire Ascension Path now covered by COH we all's spell? Although Ascension Path is known as a forest, it's not small in size. It's a massive territory, comparable to several cities of Yongyuo put together. I'm astounded by the scale of COH we all's spell, yet I have the feeling that he is currently being overpowered. There. She has emerged up to the shoulders. Shouldn't the entire sea dragon tribe appear by now? Beyond the sky, somewhere unseen, Cohweal and the Mad Lord are engaging in a fierce battle. Even amidst this, Ascension Path is thrown into chaos by Cohweal's spell, covered in water. I need to find my colleagues. I stretch out the formless sword in the water to stabilize myself and begin searching for my colleagues. I saw Kim Young-hoon there. And Jeon Myung-hoon too. I locate each of them in turn. Kang Min-hee, Oh Hyun-seok, Kim Yeon, and Oh Hi-seo. Among them, Deputy Manager Oh Hi-seo seems to be affected by the power of the Sea Dragon King, shedding bloody tears and clutching her head. Damn, what a mess this is. I gather my colleagues who couldn't breathe underwater, press their acupoints to help them last a bit longer in the water, and forcibly expel the water filled in their lungs with internal energy. We have to hold on. We have to wait until the end of the monstrous fight between those characters. Rumble, rumble. Somewhere above in the sky, covered by dark clouds. There, I sense the presence of other formidable beings gathering besides Mad Lord and Cohweal, this aura. Heavenly being cultivators are flocking to the area above Ascension Path, sensing the anomaly, not long after. Whoosh. The water covering the entire Ascension Path drains away, and the dark clouds evaporate. Crackle, crackle. From the center of the dark clouds, Jin Byuk-ho in a golden robe is scattering golden lightning, evaporating the dark clouds like the sun. Shortly after, familiar faces appear beyond the sky. Centered around the Mad Lord, who has closed the lid of the box, are the Sea Dragon King Cohweal, Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect's Master Jin Byuk-ho, Blackbone Valley's Grand Elder Whitebone Ghost, Devil Hyo-gwak, Heaven Creation Sect's founder and Chungmun clan's ancestor Sir Chang-ho. Additionally, there is a plump woman in white, a dried-up and irritable middle-aged man in brown, a rugged man in green with a beard like a lion's mane, and a skeletal, thin woman in black with long nails. To have the Masters of Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, Blackbone Valley, Heaven Creation Sect, Sea Dragon Tribe, Mighty Tiger Tribe, Holy Peng Tribe, Righteous Path Alliance, and Devil Path Alliance all gathered around this old man. What an honor! The Mad Lord chuckles and looks around. The cultivators begin to speak one by one. Don't cross the line, Mad Lord. If Ascension Path falls, who knows what will happen to the Ascension Gate? How can you be so arrogant? Why are you so reckless? If it weren't for the Sea Dragon King, Ascension Path and the Ascension Gate would have crumbled, crushing the dreams of countless heavenly being cultivators. Do you not know, or do you not care? You insane old man, we were about to let you be during this auspicious time, but you dare to bring that out in Ascension Path. Do you think you'll be safe when we all come together? Even amidst numerous heavenly being cultivators, Mad Lord just smirks and lays his hand on the box again. At this, all the heavenly being cultivators in the sky jolt. Of course, if all your forces unite, I wouldn't stand a chance. But I'm prepared to self-destruct with her at any time. Do you have such resolve, Eek, a senile old man saying things? The standoff between the Mad Lord and the group of heavenly beings continue for a while, until the Sea Dragon King begins to mediate with a smile. Let's not do this, everyone. What's the gain in such behavior during this auspicious time? Mad old man, wouldn't it be more beneficial for you to ascend to the higher realms for your lover? The Sea Dragon King goes around among the heavenly beings, mediating, and after a while, they seem to reach an agreement and form a non-aggression pact with the Mad Lord. Just then, Jin Byuk-ho suddenly looks down below and locks eyes with Jeon Myung-hoon. What? Wait. Is this? Jin Byuk-ho, along with Whitebone Ghost Devil and Sir Chang-ho, look down and repeat the same actions as before. This time, however, along with Cohweal and the Mad Lord, the leaders of the Righteous and Devil Path Alliances, the Mighty Tiger Tribe and Holy Peng Tribe are also present. They, too, recognize the talents of my colleagues and show interest. Ha, is this the heavenly golden thunder body from the golden divine heavenly thunder sect's legend? The one that golden thunderbearer Yang Sujin had. I'm somewhat interested too. The ghostly yin transformation immortal route, huh? Rather than entering Black Bone Valley, I can teach her well as my disciple. The leaders of the righteous and demonic path alliances Jian Myung-hoon and Kang Min-hee, while the leaders of the Holy Peng and mighty tiger tribes drool over Oh Hyun-seok, a human born with the unique holy body. Ha, indeed. If given the true origin blood of the mighty tiger tribe, we will welcome him as one of us. However, Jin Byuk-ho growls and grabs Jian Myung-hoon. You ragtag bunch, daring to snatch away a prospective disciple of my sect. Knowing he has the same constitution as my sect founder. Do you really want to be at odds with my sect, Sect Master Jin? It's not like that. Just leave. Wait quietly in front of the Ascension Gate until it opens. White Bone Ghost Devil also gives an eerie smile, watching the Demonic Path Alliance's leader who eyes Kang Min-hee. This child is destined to enter our valley. Must all talented individuals only go to Black Bone Valley? Do you want to taste the Nether Crossing ship, Eek? Dog-like Black Bone Valley folks. Fine, do as you please. The leaders of the righteous and demonic path alliances back away, unable to say anything in front of Jin Byuk-ho and White Bone Ghost Devil. Mighty Tiger King and Holy Peng King eye Chifo with interest, but when Sir Chang-ho clears his throat, they avert their eyes from him and force an awkward smile. Hee. We can't upset the Chungmun ancestor. Yes, if it's Sir Chang-ho, he'll nurture him well. However, Holy Peng King and Mighty Tiger King turn their attention back to Deputy Manager Oh Hyun-seok. She is bleeding through the 7 orifices and seem to cause not just the storm, but also another phenomena. They can't tell exactly what it is, but greed is evident in the eyes of Holy Peng King and Mighty Tiger King. After all, this woman seems to directly use the powers of a demon beast. It seems like an extraordinary trait for our demon race. They approach Deputy Manager Oh Hyun-seok, but Coh subtly blocks them with a smile. As Coh speaks, they listen for a moment, nod their heads, and step back. If that's what the Sea Dragon King suggests, indeed, with the abilities of the Sea Dragon King, he can indeed better bring out the demon beast traits of this woman. Eventually, everything flows as per destined fate. All colleagues go with their designated heavenly being cultivators. Among the heavenly being cultivators who are weaker in this competition, they can only suck their fingers in envy, watching the talented ones being taken by the stronger ones. Then, when the members are distributed, the remaining ones turn their eyes to me, Kim Young-hoon, and Manager Kim Yeon. Anyway, do those remaining have some other hidden talents? That human guy, despite being of human lineage, possesses a demon core, maybe a demi-human? Let's scrutinize each one. We might discover some incredible talents, then the heavenly being cultivators reach out to us. Kim Young-hoon, Manager Kim Yeon, and I scream as our bodies are searched with celestial energy. During this, Manager Kim Yeon awakens her consciousness and becomes the disciple of the plump lady in white, the leader of the Righteous Path Alliance. Kim Young-hoon and I are squeezed and oppressed in consciousness by other heavenly being cultivators, suffering all kinds of hardships. However, upon examination, I am deemed to have just a slightly unique constitution but no special talents, and Kim Young-hoon is judged to be a normal mortal with no special constitution. Sir Chang-ho treats us, bringing the incident to a conclusion. Unfortunately, these two don't seem to have any notable talents, so we should just leave them. This unique constitution is a bit interesting. How did a human come to possess a demon core enough? Even if it's an unusual constitution, it's not mythically talented enough to be worth taking. Let's just go. The heavenly beings chatter and soon prepare to fly back through the Ascension Gate. Damn, everything's been chaotic since the beginning of this life. I frown, holding my head slightly. But there's something I shouldn't forget. I am about to talk about the Bloodwood practitioner, Yuan Lai, hiding in the heaven-treading desert. Seniors, perhaps in the heaven-treading desert, the Bloodwood. Thump it is then. The Sea Dragon King approaches and pats my shoulder familiarly. This king knows him too. Despite being a human, he's ambitious and knows many interesting techniques. This king even learned a spell from him. It seems you two have inherited that spell. Shiver, suddenly, a chill runs through my body. If I talk about the Bloodwood practitioner, I'll be killed by the Sea Dragon King right now. There is no urge to kill in his eyes, nor in his intent, but perhaps it's intuition. It's warning me of ominousness. Gulp. The Sea Dragon King pats my shoulder with a kind face and stands up. As you have a demi-human lineage, this king cannot ignore you. Take this. It's a demon-beast method suitable for demi-humans to learn. In exchange for this method, I'd like to ask a simple favor. Is that all right? Cohweall shows a kind smile, extending summoning wind, dragon transformation, and the space-breaking bead to me. I understand. Thank you. I silently receive the method, Dharma treasure, and task from him. Everything proceeds as fated. I can't say anything, and all my colleagues are captured by their predetermined captors. Manager Kim is unusually taken by the lady in white this time, but Mad Lord frequently glances towards the plump lady in white and Manager Kim Yeon. I have a feeling that the woman, the leader of the Righteous Path Alliance, will not live long. Mad Lord licks his lips at me, but this time, surrounded by numerous heavenly beings, flies obediently towards the Ascension Gate. Whoosh, a storm sweeps over us. Still, something has changed. This time, no one sent Kim Young-hoon and me through a spatial rift. Also, the Fox's demon core remains in my hand. When the heavenly being cultivator of the Devil Path Alliance tried to snatch my demon core, Sir Chang-ho warned him not to rob a junior, saving it for me. Except for Kim Young-hoon and me being abandoned in Ascension Path and the Fox's demon core remaining with me, everything went as fate dictated. I calmly reassure the confused Kim Young-hoon, then look at the demon core in my hand. Within the demon core, immense spiritual energy is condensed. As it's created by a core formation demon, absorbing the energy inside can grant me immense spiritual power. I close my eyes, sit cross-legged holding the demon core, and begin absorbing the energy from within. Half a year passes in Ascension Path rumble, crackling. I look at the dark clouds scattered by my formless sword in the sky. Celestial energy changes, granting me 300 years of lifespan. I succeed in absorbing the mid-core formation Fox's demon core, recovering to the first constellation of Kai building and creating the Horn spiritual star. Chapter 94, Lotus 2. Chapter 94, Lotus 2, Rumble. I gaze at the dark clouds scattering across the sky. Even if my lifespan hasn't ended, does the appearance of dark clouds mean I am about to receive a new lifespan? I have never heard of such a phenomenon occurring when a typical cultivator reaches the stage of Kai building. Is this also related to the heavenly rejection? It seems like the heavens are trying to interfere with my receiving of new lifespan. However, I collect my formless sword, smiling wryly. Try and stop me as many times as you want. I will split all the lightning and scatter the clouds, shattering the sky if need be. Rumble. Feeling the pure spiritual force beginning to flow within my body, I stand up. Is this a cultivator at Kai building? Kim Young-hoon, who was standing guard beside me, asks with curiosity. Half a year has passed since we came to Ascension Path. Under my guidance, Kim Young-hoon has become a peak master, fully mature in the realm of 3 flowers gather at the summit. If he continues to follow my guidance for another 2 or 3 years, he will definitely reach the realm of 5 energies converging to the origin. Yes, now I can live for another 350 years or so. Amazing. He looks at me in awe. Just like the other colleagues, everyone seems to possess incredible talent. If I hadn't accidentally obtained the demon core of the demon fox, it would have taken me decades to reach Kai building. I lift the dim, energy-drained core formation Fox's demon core. Although the Fox's demon core was of the core formation mid-stage, I, with only the enlightenment of Kai building mid-stage, couldn't absorb all the energy contained within it. After all, the absorption rate is low, as I had to refine the chaotic demonic energy and only absorb the pure part. Nevertheless, thanks to the Fox's demon core, I achieved great success in the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation and reached the stage of Kai building. From now on, I can smoothly progress to Kai building 2nd constellation, thanks to the insights from the 1,000 lustrous forest sea and yin soul ghost incantation I gained in my past life. Regarding Kai building 3rd constellation, I chose the White Tiger constellation during this life's 7 stars ritual and obtained the White Tiger's blessing. This will let me make swift progress. This life, whether for better or worse, I can reach the 4th constellation of Kai building. If things go well, I might even aim for the grand perfection of Kai building. Of course, there are things to do before that. Then, Kim Hyung, shall we leave Ascension Path? Oh, are we finally leaving? Great, I can't wait to see people again. At my words, Kim Young-hoon laughs joyously, excited to leave with me. Whoosh. We leave Ascension Path and land in the heaven-treading desert, then we speed across the desert using my spells. Kim Young-hoon marvels at the vast landscape of the desert, and I, having ascended to Kai building and acquired an immense amount of pure spiritual force, quickly head towards Byokra. Perhaps it will be good to visit the castle where Yuan Lai is. Thinking about it, at this point when the heavenly beings have not ascended for long, he might still be at core formation. If he's still core formation, I might be able to do something now that I have ascended to Kai building and gained pure spiritual force. After pondering for a moment, I press my head hard. I still feel the 5 elements blood curse banner embedded in the core of my upper dantian. The 5 elements blood curse banner is, after all, Yuan Lai's curse spell. Going there right now might be unpredictable. It will be better to deal with the 5 elements blood curse banner first before seeking him out. Then, regarding the 5 elements blood curse banner, the best is undoubtedly. I turn my gaze towards the south, to the Black Wind Sea, heavenly being's remnant soul. It would be best to ask Song Jin of Black Ghost Valley. With that thought, I head towards Byokra with Kim Young-hoon. Whoosh. Cough, cough. Damn it, Yoon Hyun, are we there yet? We're almost there, I frown. We encountered a sandstorm and spent several days inside of it. The sandstorm subsided, but during that time, we had to expend a lot of effort and spiritual power. Because of this, I couldn't generate water at regular intervals using spiritual power, leaving Kim Young-hoon and me without water for 2 days now. Our clothes are tattered and we have nothing more to eat or drink. Damn it. But now we are almost at Byokra. Soon we should see Chinsik City. Whoosh. How long have we been pushing through the sandstorm, using spells to advance? Far in the distance, Chinsik City comes into view. Kim Hyung, there's the city. Oh, let's hurry and get some water. Crossing the heaven-treading desert is always challenging, no matter how many times I do it. There are tolerable times, but often when one encounters sandstorms, they will arrive utterly exhausted like this. Swoosh. Kim Young-hoon and I stop in front of Chinsik City, and the guards approach us. Stop. Who are you? Without fuss, I approach and float a few spells above my hand to show them. A cultivator. Perhaps because Chinsik City is famous for its magic artifacts and is frequently visited by cultivators looking to purchase them, the locals are more aware of cultivators than in other regions. I'm a desert tribe cultivator who has crossed the desert. Please, let us enter. Which tribe are you from? The Jurip tribe. Ah, the largest tribe, I see. Understood. Here is your pass. It's a knack I have developed from entering and leaving Chinsik City in several lifetimes. Of course, there are no cultivators like me in the Jurip tribe, but by the time they check, I will likely be gone from this place. People at last. Kim Young-hoon, seeing people for the first time in half a year, eagerly observes them, unable to understand the language of Byokra. Not only the people, but he also observes the myriad colors of intent they emit, which are visible to him at the realm of 3 flowers gather at the summit. He'll probably reach the realm of 5 energies converging to the origin soon. His enthusiastic observation of colors of emotions suggests he will soon reach the realm of awakening consciousness. However, I inhale the hot air of Chinsik City, adjacent to the desert, and look around. Where can we find some water? It's been almost 200 years since I last visited Chinsik City, so I'm a bit hazy about where the well is. As I look around with a burning face, a woman in white approaches me. "Are you looking for water?" Both Kim Young-hoon and I nod vigorously. "Follow me. I'll provide you with some water at my shop." "Ah, thank you, miss." We follow her. Her shop, located in a small alley of Cheonseek City, is a magic artifact store named White Magical Lotus. Swoosh. She scoops a bucket of water from a wooden barrel in a corner of the shop and hands it to me. "Drink this, and I'll bring another bucket for your companion." But before she can fetch another bucket, Kim Young-hoon uses telekinesis to draw water towards himself and starts drinking it desperately. "Ah, I'm sorry. My companion is very thirsty." "It's all right. It's not unusual for people coming from the desert to be like that." "Then we'll gladly drink, thank you." I take the bucket she offered and drink the water. I finally feel alive again. The water I create with my own spiritual power only quenches the basic thirst without bringing the satisfaction of drinking water. It's like putting back into my body what I have taken out, but drinking real water from outside truly refreshes me. "Ah, I'm truly grateful, miss." "We haven't had water for 2 days. No problem, there's a well in Cheonseek City just a bit further, but judging by your aura, you seem to be a cultivator, right?" "Ah." Only then did I realize that she, too, is a cultivator. Judging by the fluctuation of her spiritual power, she seems to be around the level of Kai refining 11th star. Suddenly, I remember that I have seen her before. "Ah, you are. That's right, long ago. The first time I had escaped from the heaven-treading desert on my own and crossed the heaven-treading desert, she was the cultivator who had given me water. You recognize me." A hint of wariness appears in her eyes. She might be misunderstanding something. "Please don't misunderstand, miss. I remember your kindness from a long time ago when you gave me water in Cheonseek City." "Oh, I see." Her wariness relaxes. "Descendants from the Gongmyo clan, Byok clan, and Chungmun clan often bother me, so I got a bit startled. I'm relieved to know you're someone I've helped before." "Ha ha, it seems you've done many good deeds before. Isn't it our duty to help those who wander in the desert? You have a kind heart." While talking, I look around the shop. These are magic artifacts. Honestly, having the overwhelmingly superior formless sword, I have never thought of using such artifacts. However, looking around the shop, even to the inexperienced eye, there are many magic artifacts that look quite useful. The spiritual power emanating from these artifacts is very stable. Even with demon senses, the circulation of spiritual energy in them is natural, making them excellent works. Who made these artifacts? Indeed, Cheonseek City is famous for magic artifacts. Even I, with my ignorance, can tell their quality is exceptional. Aha. At my words, the corners of her mouth lift slightly. Did she make these? It's then that I notice the golden intent emanating from her. She suppresses a chuckle and speaks. "Your clothes look too tattered. Would you like some unused clothes from my place?" "Ah, if you could do that, it would be much appreciated." "Don't hesitate. These are really just clothes lying around without an owner." Saying so, she looks once more at Kim Young-hoon and me, and goes inside and returns with 2 sets of clothes. They are a bit worn but cleaner than what we're wearing. One set is a white robe like the one she is wearing, and the other, a yellow robe, the color of the desert. Both were Taoist robes. I brought these clothes that were just lying around in my house, hoping they might be of help. Since I offered water, why not clothes as well? I'm so grateful I don't know how to thank you." "Oh." Kim Young-hoon, having finished drinking his water, wipes his mouth and comes over. Though he doesn't understand the language, he chooses a robe after I explain she is offering clothes. Kim Young-hoon picks the yellow robe and I choose the white one. We both go to a secluded corner of the shop to change. "My, you look much better now." "Thank you for the clothes. I don't know how to repay this kindness. If you insist, consider it a debt from a Kai Building senior." She smiles warmly as she accepts my thanks. After promising to repay her for the clothes, we leave the White Magical Lotus artifact shop. Kim Young-hoon and I left Cheonseek City and traveled through various cities in Byokra, paying respects to the Chungmun clan from afar. Then we reached Yongnuo. We briefly visited my disciples after crossing the Jin clan's barrier and continued south to the Black Wind Sea. Should I wait here? Yes, it won't take long. All right, then. I'll practice my martial arts in the meantime. I leave Kim Young-hoon and take out the space-breaking bead and summoning wind dragon transformation method given by Co Hweol. What to do? In my past life, I had simply thrown the space-breaking beetle into the depths of the sea. However, after some thinking, I decide not to discard it this time. A self-destructing spatial Dharma treasure. It might be useful later on if I need to perform a mutual destruction tactic. After helping Seo Ran defeat Song Jin's remnant soul and obtaining the coordinates of serving Command Palace, maybe this time I can get a proper longevity fruit for Kim Young-hoon. I vividly remember the spell Yuan Lai used in my last life. The spell that rapidly grew the longevity fruit by extracting life force. Although I don't know everything about that spell, my solid foundational knowledge from my master helped me understand its general principle. Perhaps in this life, if I can find a way to implement that same effect without stealing others' life force, I might just be able to extend Kim Young-hoon's life. Swoosh! I leap into the air, heading towards Seo Ran's residence. The story progressed quickly. After showing Seo Ran my power and the summoning wind dragon transformation method, I gained his trust. Together, we went to the nether crossing ship where Song Jin resided, quietly dismantled the formation, and reached the lowest level of the ship. Song Jin is still a ghost engulfed in dark ghostly energy. Look here, Elder Song Jin of Black Ghost Valley. Who are you? He glares at me, scattering his eerie ghostly energy. Ignoring him, I respond. Hand over the nether crossing ship. Rumble. His ghostly energy spreads everywhere, but it seems much weaker compared to Yuan Lai in my last life. I grip the formless sword facing him. Somehow, confronting him this time doesn't shake me as much as before. Translator notes. I updated and corrected some terms. Black Bone Valley, Black Ghost Valley, Azure Bone Valley, Azure Ghost Valley, White Bone Ghost Horse, White Bone Ghost, Devil Demon Legion, Terracotta Scroll, Devil Legion, Terracotta Scroll, Chapter 95. Lotus 3, Chapter 95. Lotus 3, Rumble. Unexpectedly, Song Jin doesn't rush into an attack but observes me instead. What are you? I've never heard of a human possessing a demon core nor such bizarre techniques. It seems you know something about me, a clear defensive stance. It seems he can't fully sense me, because I entered quietly without smashing the barrier, as I did in my past life. Compared to when he had absorbed all the ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship and displayed core formation peak-level prowess in my previous life, he currently hasn't absorbed the ship's ghostly energy, so only a mid-core formation stage aura is present. How could I not have heard of the infamous Black Ghost Valley, let alone a heavenly being cultivator leading it? Heh, you must have heard the Mad Lord killed me. Are you mocking me? Rumble. Song Jin gathers enough ghostly energy. He launches an attack, Screech. Thousands of white bone skeletons rise like a tidal wave around me and surge towards me. I extend my formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains, mountain and valley transformation. The formless sword spreads in all directions in the shape of thorny terrain, completely dominating the surrounding space. Then the sword undergoes another transformation. Severing mountain swordsmanship, severing vein saber method, fist technique, leg technique, foot technique, ground technique, spear technique. A mix of numerous martial art changes. Every field I researched together with Kim Young-hoon in my past life. Over 200 years, I had further developed and refined my formless sword, using hundreds of transformations per second to push Song Jin back. His spells break apart, completely overwhelmed by my formless sword. The first clash. And in this first encounter, Song Jin is overwhelmingly outmatched. Song Jin's body absorbs the ghostly energy around him, transforming into a huge monster ghost. The form I had seen last time. However, this time he seems to maintain his sanity, calmly observing his surroundings. Severing mountain swordsmanship, dragon vein, Kai mountain heart heaven, cliff edge. Swoosh! The formless sword moves even faster, grows larger, and reaches a speed that is unmatchable. The entire body of the monster ghost is slashed in an instant, and Song Jin, reverting from his monster ghost form, casts a new spell. Rumbling, blue ghost fire gathers in his hands. However, severing vein saber method, mountain wind whiz. The ultra-fast thrust hits the weak spot of the ghost fire before he can react, causing it to explode right in his hands. Arg, 3 clashes. That alone makes the difference in our strengths clear. The formless sword, honed and refined over 200 years, has reached an extreme level of proficiency. Compared to the formless sword when I first faced Song Jin, it has undergone a change as vast as the difference between heaven and earth. Had he been in his prime, a living heavenly being, it would have been entirely different. But at this point, he can't defeat me. Song Jin grits his teeth, looking at me as he realizes he can't win. But instead of further pressuring him, I decide to change the topic a bit. I too have seen the Mad Lord. I recall the battle between the Mad Lord and Cohweal in the clouds unseen. Cohweal, who covered the entire ascension path with water with a single gesture, and the Mad Lord, who consistently overpowered him and the Sea Dragon tribe. Honestly, just surviving a battle with such a monster and leaving behind a remnant soul is nothing to be ashamed of. Song Jin falls silent at my words. His intent is mixed with shame, anger, depression, and lamentation. You're right. In that war, the Mad Lord suddenly decided to attack us, and he rushed in unprepared. He destroyed a third of our main forces just like that. If he had fully prepared for war against us, Black Ghost Valley's 500,000 years of history would have ended that day. Song Jin sighs. So why? Why has a strong one like you invaded the Nether crossing ship, and why are you after it? This ship is in ruins, and you don't seem to need its ghostly energy for your cultivation. I think about making up an excuse, but decide to tell the truth. You came looking for that half-dragon's belongings. At his words, Seo Ran, who is hiding behind me, flinches. Song Jin's eyes blaze with even more intense blue ghost fire. There's nothing of yours in this ship. What belongs to Black Ghost Valley stays in Black Ghost Valley. Abandon your greed and leave. But Seo Ran steps forward after swallowing hard. Please, Senior, I implore you, what I seek is an heirloom of my mother. Crackle, intense blue ghost fire surges from Song Jin's eyes. Why are you searching for your mother's heirloom in the Nether crossing ship of Black Ghost Valley? That is because my mother was a disciple of Black Ghost Valley. Kugagagugu, Song Jin seems to shudder, alternating his gaze between me and my formless sword. Recalling the 3 clashes just moments before, he is sizing me up. I don't avoid his gaze. In my past life, I had hunted him with Kim Young-hoon right after obtaining the formless sword. And over 200 years, I had further honed the formless sword. Now, even if he absorbs all the ghostly energy of the Nether crossing ship and fights me, I don't think I will be easily outmatched, especially now that he was unprepared for my sudden visit. Come at me. After a moment of eye contact with me, Song Jin lets out a small sigh. Fine. I'll give you half a day. Search the Nether crossing ship and find your mother's heirloom. If you can't find it within half a day, as an elder of Black Ghost Valley, I'll find a way to expel you for trespassing. Apparently feeling burdened by the prospect of direct combat, Song Jin ultimately agrees to a compromise. Whoosh! The raging ghost fire in his eyes subsides. I also sheathe my formless sword. Remember, half a day. If you don't find your mother's heirloom within that time, you must leave the Nether crossing ship. Understood. Seo Ran expresses his gratitude to Song Jin, and I glance at him before moving past. Then, about half an hour later, in the lowest level of the Nether crossing ship, I find the room where Seo Ran's mother's heirloom was located in my past life and promptly retrieve a jade slip for Seo Ran. By any chance, could it be this? Ah, Seo Ran's face turns tearful as he shakily takes the jade slip from me. Thank you so much, Senior. It's nothing. But it seems that the ghost is quite angry. Outside his mother's room, there stands Song Jin, fists clenched and trembling with anger. You, how do you know about that child's room? You, what is your relationship with her? Seo Ran also looks at me with a puzzled expression. Did I make it seem that way? True, going straight to Seo Ran's mother's room might have given him the impression that I have some relationship with her. Anticipating a hassle, I concoct a slight lie. I once met White Bone Ghost Devil Heogwak, the Grand Elder of Black Ghost Valley, in Ascension Path. They were pleased with a certain valuable item they obtained, and told me to ask for what I wanted. It was then that Seo Hweal, the Sea Dragon King who was also there, asked me to fulfill Seo Ran's request. To efficiently complete this task, I asked Heogwak about the location of Seo Ran's mother's room. What? After listening to my explanation, Song Jin looks incredulous but reluctantly nods. All right, let's say that's true. How about stepping aside from the door? Both Seo Ran and I wish to leave. Didn't we find the heirloom within the half-day you proposed? Wait. Song Jin, with his eyes ablaze with ghost fire, looks at us and speaks. You, half-dragon boy. Your mother was special to me too. So now, right here, read your mother's will with me. What? Seo Ran looks uncomfortable, but under Song Jin's intimidating presence, he reluctantly sits down to read the jade slip. I have no interest in meddling in Seo Ran's family affairs and step back, while Song Jin moves behind Seo Ran to read together. After a while, tears begin to fall from Seo Ran's eyes, and the intensity of ghost fire in Song Jin's eyes weakens. No, it softens. Foolish child. Didn't you know that aside from the Sea Dragon King, the Sea Dragon tribe is mostly self-centered and despicable creatures? He raises his ghostly arm, trembling, and snatches the jade slip from Seo Ran. Seo Ran doesn't resist and lets Song Jin take the slip. You fool. What was so good about your husband who died so irresponsibly? You ignorant thing. Foolish. Crack, the jade slip starts to break under Song Jin's grip. Only then does Seo Ran hurriedly snatch it back. Song Jin glares at Seo Ran. I never liked you from the start, but now my dislike has grown even more. The fact that your existence ruined that child's life angers me greatly. Crack. Suddenly, I see the ghostly body forming a new face over Song Jin's skull. Ghostly energy converges into his skull, creating a face. It's the face of a middle-aged man I have seen before. Song Jin's face, materialized from the dark ghostly substance, is shedding blue tears. Right now, I want to kill you on the spot, but... He glances at me and grumbles. Be thankful for that unique individual sent by Seo Hweal. I'm terrified of dying meaninglessly, failing to protect the nether-crossing ship. So I'll leave you be for now. Seo Ran silently listens to his words, then suddenly bows to Song Jin. Please tell me about my mother. What? I have lived my life despised even by the Sea Dragon tribe, considered a half-breed. Even the Sea Dragon King left me behind, saying I couldn't accompany him in this battle of life and death. Please, Senior, Elder, I want to know what kind of person my mother was. I implore you. Tell me about my mother, this boy now. Kugagagugu. Dark blue ghostly energy fills the cabin, but I reveal my formless sword and disperse the ghostly energy, causing Song Jin to glare at me. What's so difficult about telling a story? I look into his heart essence and intent, asking. It seems you really want to tell her story, but you're hesitating. Though he appears as a ghostly figure, his heart image is a clear sea with a red-sailed boat. He is clearly a good person. His true feelings exposed, Song Jin clenches his teeth and shivers for a moment, then drops his arms. Whoosh. The ghostly energy subsides again. Seo Hweal sent a fearsome man. Thud. Song Jin staggers and then sits down on a bed in the cabin. He's silent for a while, and so is Seo Ran, both looking at each other. A moment of silence lingers in the cabin. I read Song Jin's heart and step outside the cabin. He no longer has any intention of harming Seo Ran. Shortly after, I hear Song Jin talking to Seo Ran inside the cabin. Initially, his voice is slow and heavy, reluctant. But gradually, Song Jin's speech quickens and he becomes more expressive. Seo Ran responds to him and they begin to share stories. This is an unexpected sight. Seo Ran and Song Jin sitting side by side, engrossed in conversation. I ponder for a moment, lifting my formless sword. Once you break free from fate, more and new things approach you. unspoken words and misunderstood connections, meeting anew and shaping a new future. I glance back at the cabin once more, reading the intent flowing from within, and walk onto the deck of the Nether crossing ship. Black Ghost Valley's formation hidden in the black wind sea. The center of the cylindrical, well-shaped formation. There, an open sky is visible. Night has fallen. Stars twinkle faintly beyond the clouds. Let's become stronger, stronger and even more stronger. To grow strong enough to break free from all attractions of fate, to create a new future and new connections. That is my resolve. Seo Ran and Song Jin talk through the night and continue their conversation until the sun sets. And once more, they talk well through the night until dawn. Days pass like this. The nature of their conversation and emotional exchange is unknown to me. However, I have decided to take this boy as my disciple. Connections beyond fate sometimes give birth to miracles beyond imagination. Song Jin decided to take Seo Ran as his disciple. Translator notes, wholesome. Chapter 96, Lotus 4, Chapter 96, Lotus 4. What wind blew into you? It's none of an outsider's business. If you don't know, keep quiet. Although I felt irritated for a moment, seeing Seo Ran and Song Jin both seemingly relying on each other to some extent, I nod. Congratulations, then. I can only thank you again, Senior. It's all right. Seeing Seo Ran happy, it seems I've done well in carrying out the Sea Dragon King's errand. Seo Ran smiles at me and says, someday, if you need my help, please call on me. It's all thanks to you, Senior, so I'll be sure to answer your requests 3 times, no matter what. I appreciate your kindness. Seo Ran bids me farewell, and Song Jin, with a gruff look, tosses a comment at me. Since you've helped my disciple as a master, I want to repay you. Is there anything you desire? I'll grant you 3 requests. 3 requests. I first point to my upper dantian and ask him, can you possibly dissolve the mental restraint curse on my upper dantian? HM. Hearing my words, Song Jin looks at me and asks, who placed the mental restraint curse on you? It's not the Sea Dragon King or someone of that sort, is it? I can't dissolve a curse by a heavenly being. No, it's a person called Bloodwood Practitioner Yuan Lai. Do you know him? Ah. Song Jin nods and replies, I know of him. He's that core formation cultivator living in the heaven-treading desert, correct? The one with an unusual Dharma treasure. He couldn't reach the nascent soul realm due to lack of potential and was extending his life with elixirs. Unusual Dharma treasure? Yes, it's a black castle-shaped Dharma treasure. I don't know its exact name, but inside the castle, its owner can possess strength beyond their realm. A core formation peak can have the strength of a nascent soul. Early nascent soul can have the strength of mid-nascent soul. Mid-nascent soul can have the strength of late nascent soul. It's a powerful Dharma treasure that gives its owner strength beyond their realm, quite famous among core formation cultivators. Shiver. If I had directly sought Yuan Lai in the heaven-treading desert before. In the Black Castle, the Yuan Lai possessing the strength of the nascent soul realm would have been my opponent. I'm glad I didn't go. I inwardly sigh in relief and ask, why don't the heavenly being seniors covet such an incredible Dharma treasure? Ah, that? Song Jin clicks his tongue and explains, it's useless to anyone above heavenly being. Moreover, the Dharma treasure has a force of destiny, making the trials of ascension much harder. That's why no one really touches it. Though I've heard rumors that the Sea Dragon King peculiarly sought that Dharma treasure. Did Bloodwood Yuan Lai desperately attack Serving Command Palace because of the Black Castle? Anyway, this mental restraint curse was placed by that Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Lai. Can you undo it? Let me see. I need to flow my consciousness into your upper dantian to understand the curse. Are you planning to do something with my consciousness as an excuse? Do you think so little of me, even though I am just a remnant soul now? I look at him for a moment and then ask, can you promise not to harm me, swearing on the Nether crossing ship? Yes, I, Song Jin, swear on the Nether crossing ship not to harm you. Satisfied? All right. I nod and cautiously allow him access to my upper dantian. Song Jin's cold consciousness infiltrates my domain of consciousness. After a while, his consciousness brushes past the 5 elements blood curse banner in my upper dantian and then leaves. Opening his mouth, Song Jin says, if I were alive, maybe I could have dissolved it in a month. So that means it's a bit difficult now. The curse was cast by Yuan Lai, correct. Since he has the skills of the nascent soul realm, it's not easy with my current power. I see. However, Song Jin crosses his arms and continues. His face reverts from the middle-aged face to his skeletal form. I can teach you a method to master the curse yourself. It's slower but effective in dissolving the curse, and once fully dissolved, you can transform it into your own unique technique. Interesting. What method is it? It's called the one emotion method, a consciousness technique. You focus endlessly on a single emotion, understand it, and infuse your mental restraint with that emotion, making it your own. Whoosh. Song Jin tears off a piece of the damaged nether crossing ship and writes down the intricacies of the one emotion method, handing it over to me. Here, no tricks involved. Take this. And what about the other 2 requests? Thank you. After skimming through the details of the one emotion method, I ask him for a cultivation method with the same requirements as last time. Between Devil Legion Terracotta Scroll and Silica Earth Great Wall practice, I wonder which one is better. After some thinking, I request Silica Earth Great Wall practice. Silica Earth Great Wall practice, It's quite a complex one to master, is that all right? It doesn't matter. If mastered, it's a method that can manipulate dragon veins, making one unmatched. However, it requires understanding the land where you're rooted. It's not only difficult to understand, but also drastically loses power once you leave your original location, making it a half-useless method. Does that not mean if I stay in my original place, my power will increase significantly? I recall my past life. It seems better to learn the Silica Earth Great Wall practice and defend either Shattered Heaven Peak or Serving Command Palace, as I will likely be stationed in one place, if that's what you want. Song Jin once again produces the intricacies of the Silica Earth Great Wall practice, and your last request. My last request is? I look at Song Jin and point at Seo Ran. Please teach Seo Ran well. That will suffice. Since Seo Ran has already offered to help me, there is no need to extract everything from Song Jin. Unexpectedly, Song Jin looks momentarily flustered but then speaks. That goes without saying. Since it's something I should do anyway, consider that request void, and I'll owe you another favor in the future. Thank you. I bow to Song Jin and then rise from my seat. With Seo Ran's matter resolved and the one emotion method obtained, it seems the issue with the 5 elements blood curse banner will be resolved in about 30 to 40 years. Now, what remains is extending Kim Young-hoon's lifespan. I recall the framework of the spell used by Yuan Lai. I understand the general idea. Yet, could I redefine those details into a new spell to ripen the fruit of longevity? First, I need a powerful energy source, a source comparable to the boundless life energy Yuan Lai absorbed from the core formation cultivators. A powerful energy source. What can it be? Suddenly, my thoughts turn to the newly received Silica Earth Great Wall practice, a method that will ultimately allow control over dragon veins. Dragon veins. I stare intently at the Silica Earth Great Wall practice. Could I use the immense power of dragon veins, refine it with Yuan Lai's spell, and make the longevity fruit ripen? The immense natural force flowing through the earth might be comparable to the life energy of tens of thousands. Of course, it's fantastical. It's an unrealistic thought. If it was that easy, why would there be devilish clans and human elixirs in this world? However, right now, even such a fanciful idea needs consideration. I have to invest in seemingly impossible tasks to forge new paths. And for that, I need formations and knowledge, new knowledge. And if it's knowledge about formations, the 3 great figures of the Kai building realm, the alchemy of Makli Yun Ryo, the magic artifacts of Gamyo Chinsik, and the formations of Chungmun Ryong, I decide to seek out Chungmun Ryong. After receiving the Silica Earth Great Wall practice from Song Jin, I left the Black Wind Sea and went to where Kim Young-hoon was waiting. You've grown even more in these few days. Kim Young-hoon has already taken another step towards 5 energies converging to the origin. You're right. Since I couldn't speak the language here, I focused more on reading people's intents, which advanced my understanding of 3 flowers gather at the summit. I am amazed at his rate of growth. Despite my easy explanation about 5 energies converging to the origin, he's already nearing that realm. He might reach the realm faster than expected. After pondering for a moment, I speak to him. Kim Hyung, how about we part ways now? What? Why are you saying that all of a sudden? From what I see, Kim Hyung. You grow faster when you assimilate and apply understanding on your own, rather than just digesting what I've simplified and organized. I've already taught you everything regarding 5 energies converging to the origin, including the ultimate pinnacle and beyond the path to heaven. Yes, you did. Then, from now on, why not try reaching beyond the path to heaven on your own in this world? Given his nature, it seems he will progress faster by challenging himself against the world rather than just following me. Though he looks flustered at first, my continued persuasion eventually leads him to nod in agreement. After parting with Kim Young-hoon and asking him to eliminate Mak Lee-young later on, I leave Yongyuo and head towards the Chungmun clan in Byokra. If I directly go to the main house of the Chungmun clan, it will certainly surprise them. Originally, the main houses of cultivating clans are known to those who should know, but officially, it's a secret. Cultivators of the core formation realm and above, such as clan heads and core formation elders, could visit other clans' main houses without being considered rude. However, for elders who are merely at the Kai building level, it's basic etiquette to pass through the territory of the cultivating clan before visiting, unless instructed by the clan head. Of course, my actual strength is at core formation, but since my visible skill is at the very beginning of Kai building, I decide to act accordingly. Thud. I head to the territory of the Chungmun clan and use a spell on the formation that envelops the territory to give it a stimulus. My pure spiritual force momentarily interacts with the formation, and soon after, a cultivator of the Kai refining 12th star comes out. I am Chungmun Jian of the Chungmun clan. May I know which senior from which clan you are? He asks me courteously, and I reply. I am a wandering cultivator. I heard that a Kai building cultivator of your esteemed clan, known as Chungmun Ryong, is an expert in formations, and I have come to consult him on a certain matter. Ah, you've come to see the elder. Please wait a moment, I will contact the elders of the territory. He takes out a communication device from his pocket, infuses it with spiritual power, and relays the reason for my visit. After a while, a Kai building cultivator from inside the territory comes out and welcomes me. Ha ha, my name is Chungmun Dan. Typical of a cultivator from the Chungmun clan, he is a muscular giant, and he leads me inside the territory to his residence. Thank you for visiting the Chungmun clan. I heard you wish to see Chungmun Ryong Hyung. You want to discuss formations? Yes. May I ask for your name? My name is Seo Yoonhyun. Please call me Cultivator Seo. Understood, Cultivator Seo. Ha ha, it's an honor for our clan that a talent like Cultivator Seo has come to consult with our Hyung on formations. First, as a distinguished guest like Cultivator Seo has visited, let me inform the main house and get back to you. For now, let's have some tea while we wait. Chungmun Dan treats me, who has reached Kai building, as an equal guest, and we have tea together, sharing various stories. Although there isn't much to talk about regarding cultivation methods, the Chungmun clan is a martial clan devoted to the Tao of combat, so he and I share our battle experiences and have a hearty conversation. A few days later, I'm invited to the main house of the Chungmun clan, and finally, I am able to meet Chungmun Ryong in person. Chungmun clan's main house, in one of the guest rooms. Slide. The sliding door opens, and a stern-looking old man with a goat beard enters. I stand up and greet him respectfully. Hello, I have long heard of your reputation. Hello, there's no need for such formalities. We are both cultivators of the same ream. I will call you Cultivator Seo. You can just call me Cultivator Chungmun. Facing my past master, who has become Cultivator Chingmun, I open my mouth reluctantly with a face unable to cry or smile. Understood? Cultivator Chingmun. My master has appeared before me as Cultivator Chingmun. Chapter 97, Lotus 5, Chapter 97, Lotus 5. Is there something uncomfortable? No. Thank you for your hospitality, Cultivator Chingmun. I face Chingmun Ryong while hiding my emotions. He looks puzzled but does not ask further and takes a seat. I sit down as well. I heard you came to discuss formations with me. Yes. I saw a spell a nascent soul cultivator used the other day, and I wanted to create a formation based on that framework, so I came to consult with Cultivator Chingmun, an expert in formations. Can I see the kind of formation you are talking about? I show him the design of the formation I have planned. Chingmun Ryong looks over the formation for a while and says, "So this is a formation that concentrates strong energy to transform into life force, thereby accelerating the growth of heaven and earth spiritual plants, correct?" That's correct. That's inefficient. It would be faster to use the filthy methods of the devil path to refine life force and pour it in. Why do you think such a formation has never been developed? Even if you pour a foolish amount of spiritual energy, it's bound to be slow in accelerating the growth of spiritual plants. This is a very important matter to me. Is there really no way? After examining the formation for a while, Chingmun Ryong looks at me and asks, "Cultivator Seo, I don't think you came to me with such a foolish formation structure. You must have some more information to request my help, correct?" I nod and take out another book from my belongings. It's a book recording information regarding the longevity tree and longevity fruits. I've done detailed research on the heaven and earth spiritual plant I want to accelerate in growth. The species of the spiritual plant, its location, the condition of the surrounding dragon veins, the uniqueness of the area. I even know the current state of the spiritual plant. It's just about to bloom and bear fruit, and it will be fully ripened in a few hundred years. I want to use the formation to accelerate the ripening period by a few hundred years. Chingmun Ryong carefully examines the book I gave him, stroking his beard. If that's the case, a formation that only applies to that particular spiritual plant and accelerates growth for a few hundred years. As he looks at the book, he suddenly shudders. The longevity fruit? Just one fruit can extend life by 100 years. That's right. I should mention this to the clan head. A spiritual plant that can extend life by this much is a tremendous treasure, especially for the core formation clan head. Especially now, with the Ascension Gate open and many heavenly being cultivators having ascended. Maybe I can get support from the clan head. He asks me questions about the book and the formation, and we end up talking through the night. It's already dawn. Is there an issue? It's been a while since I had so much fun, but I have to report to the clan head, so I must leave. Taoist Seo, among the Kai building cultivators I've met, you are the most knowledgeable and have an outstanding understanding of cultivation methods. Honestly, when you first presented that nonsensical formation structure, I thought you were mad. Thanks to you, I've learned a lot. No, I've learned more from Taoist Chingmun. Taoist, a nickname among cultivators of equal standing who are close. He seemed to like me after talking through the night, and at some point he started calling me Taoist, this foolish disciple. Cultivator Seo Taoist Seo, how my title changes over time. Someday, will the word senior come out of Chingmun Ryong's mouth? As I see Chingmun Ryong off, I feel a lingering bittersweet taste as I grow more powerful. I can surpass fate and witness new miracles and changes. But somehow I feel some things should remain unchanged. I'm afraid of the day senior might come out of Chingmun Ryong's mouth. Cultivator Seo, did you have a good talk with Ryong Hyung? Cultivator Chingmun Dan. Chingmun Dan, who had led me to the main house, approaches and asks. It's been a long time since I've seen Ryong Hyung talk so happily. He always grumbles that there are only muscleheads in the Chingmun clan. It seems he really enjoyed himself for the first time in a while. I only asked Cultivator Chingmun questions. To say he was happy makes me feel embarrassed. Asking proper questions is no small feat. Cultivator Chungmun Ryong always complains about the ignorance of other Kai building elders. Last night, listening to your conversation, it was rare not to see his usual prickliness. I'm truly impressed by Cultivator Seo's knowledge. That's kind of you to say. It's just that my master taught me well. I swallow the bitter taste in my mouth and force a smile. I see. May I ask who your master is? I apologize, but I prefer not to disclose my master's name. I understand. It seems you are young, too. I wish even half of our clan's younger members are like Cultivator Seo. Chungmun Dan sighs, talking about how the recent generation is chasing after easy success and women, and how he should assemble them all and discipline them to restore order. After some idle talk, Chungmun Dan glances at me and asks, "What about it, Cultivator Seo? If someone with your knowledge can lecture our clan's younger members." He's making an offer for me to join the Chungmun clan. It's a respectful proposition, unlike the ridiculous act of forcibly taking someone of equal status as a son-in-law. I'm afraid that being affiliated with a particular place doesn't suit my nature. That's a pity. You have such a firm conviction. I wish my descendants could learn from you. You're having a tough time with the young generation of the Chungmun clan. I recall the siblings from the Chungmun clan who had been freely throwing punches at the Spirit Path Conference. If all the younger members of the Chungmun clan are like that, it must be a headache for the elders. Well, it's not so much difficult as it is frustrating. No, not frustrating, but it's infuriating that they're bewitched by strange rumors, neglecting their cultivation and chasing after women. Chasing after women? Chungmun Dan thumps his chest in exasperation. This is all because of the Mad Lord. Damn it. Since everyone saw him roaming around the whole world before the Ascension Gate, they believe anything related to him must be inherently good, leading some to blindly follow him. Among them, the most troublesome is the top heir of the Byok clan, that rascal. Despite reaching Kai building, he behaves disgracefully, enticing even the innocent children of the Chungmun clan to chase after women with him. Chungmun Dan thumps his chest again, clearly angry. What exactly happened, if I may ask? It seems he was frustrated and desperately wanted someone to listen to his grievances. Just listen. Byok Munseong of the Byok clan one day found a cultivator in Byokra with the same qualities as the Mad Lord, a heavenly being cultivator. What? I'm shocked and look at him in surprise. The same qualities as the Mad Lord. Yes, the same kind of qualities as that mad old man. Therefore, not only the Chungmun, Byok, and Gongmyo clans, but also cultivators from other countries showed interest. However, it turned out that although this cultivator has the same qualities as the Mad Lord, their qualities are far inferior to the Mad Lord. What kind of qualities are they? Chungmun Dan looks at me somewhat incredulously and asks, "Don't you know about the Mad Lord's qualities?" The Mad Lord was born with a talent known as extraordinary pattern law talent. Those with extraordinary pattern law talent show a natural aptitude for creating magic artifacts, formations, puppets, and such. When they concentrate on creating something, strange patterns appear on their skin, and the number of colors in those patterns determines their rank, from extraordinary pattern law talent of 7 pattern to 1 pattern. The more colors, the more impure and useless the talent. Fewer colors indicate a purer and more innate talent. Ah, that's quite a unique quality, he continued. Well, true talent in extraordinary pattern law talent ranges from 1 pattern to 3 pattern. 4 pattern to 5 pattern is just average, and 6 pattern to 7 pattern is practically useless in creation. I listened to Chungmun Dan's explanation. But the cultivator found by Byok Munseong is just a 4 pattern extraordinary pattern law talent. He discovered a mediocre talent, and exaggerated it as if he found someone with the same qualities as the Mad Lord. Claiming that securing this person would be a tremendous contribution to their clan, he lured not only his own clan's younger members, but also those from the Chungmun and Gongmyo clans to chase after the woman. That's unfortunate. If it were someone from the Chungmun clan, I'd have given them a good thrashing, but I can't do that to the heir of the Byok clan. It's infuriating. You must be deeply troubled. Just then, I just discussed this matter with the clan head. Oh, Chengmun Ryong came out from the main house of the Chengmun clan and spoke to us. The clan head suggested that, together with Taoist Seo, we should completely eradicate the root of this problem. What do you mean, Ryong Hyang? The information about the longevity fruit brought by Taoist Seo. After discussing it with the elders, the clan head decided to support us unconditionally. It seems the information about the longevity fruit and its accelerated growth was told among the clan head and elders. But what does that have to do with solving the problem? Well, we need to study formations with Taoist Seo, and we need someone to provide the magic artifacts for the formation. Chengmun Ryong slowly explains to Chengmun Dan and me. So the clan head plans to formally request that woman who's been causing a stir among the clan's younger generation lately to create the magic artifacts for the formation. By placing an order in the name of the Chengmun clan and having that woman busy in her workshop, we can legally deal with any of the young heirs from our other clans who cause trouble, considering it an interference with the Chengmun clan's affairs. Indeed. Even though she's only a 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, she's still a highly talented artifact craftswoman, certainly capable of producing satisfactory results. Yes, that's likely. Ha ha. Thanks to the formation brought by Taoist Seo, we can also resolve the issues with our troublesome younger generation. Chengmun Ryong grins and pats my shoulder. Suddenly, I have a question. I understand that those with extraordinary pattern law talent are naturally skilled in creating magic artifacts and such, but what level of this talent does the Mad Lord have? Is that even a question? Obviously, he's a 1-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent. The Mad Lord's talent is truly demonic. Just imagine, before the Ascension Gate opened, many heavenly being cultivators fled whenever the Mad Lord appeared. Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan, who might have seen the Mad Lord before, both suddenly shiver. Not as high as 1-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, but still a 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent. I become curious about the cultivator who possesses the same kind of talent as the Mad Lord. Well, Ryong Hyung, we should proceed in the Chengmun clan's decisive manner. Should we just kidnap her? Yes, let's go and kidnap her quickly. What? I can't keep up with Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan's conversation and ask them for clarification. Aren't we supposed to place an official order? Indeed. However, the magic artifacts for the formation must be continually refined and experimented with as we research the formation. Wouldn't it be better if the Chengmun clan makes them and conducts experiments directly? That's why we plan to kidnap her and have her create the artifacts. Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan look at me as if wondering what the problem is. Right, this clan is known for its excessive boldness. After all, this is the clan that tried to kidnap me for a forced marriage when I was weak. We will officially pay her and place a proper order after kidnapping her. The plan under the clan head's name won't cause her any harm other than temporarily changing her residence. I hesitate, not knowing where to start objecting, and then sigh softly. How about we first meet this 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent cultivator, and then ask for her opinion? Anyway, Chengmun Ryong, Chengmun Dan, and I flew eastward to Byokra on a flying artifact to kidnap the 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent. The creator needed for the formation. Wait, this direction is... I feel a sense of déjà vu. Taoist Seo seems a bit unfamiliar with the Chengmun clan's way, I assume? Ah, yes. Chengmun Ryong strokes his beard and speaks. People of our main house don't act thoughtlessly like thieves. We observe the situation and act appropriately. It's just that, according to our clan's principle, we tend to be a bit more aggressive. Chengmun Dan continues. We're not kidnapping the artifact craftswoman just for our sake. Right now, that woman is surrounded and troubled by the heirs of not only the Chengmun clan, but also the Byok, Gongmyo, and other clans. She might even prefer to be under the protection of the Chengmun clan. Thinking about what Chengmun Dan said, it seems that, from the craftwoman's perspective, this might not be such a bad option. The founder of our clan, ancestor Chengmun Changho, once said, "Always consider the other's perspective when you act, but once you take action, Do it boldly, no matter how. I see. Thinking about it, the Chengmun clan's attempt to capture me for a forced marriage wasn't entirely bad for me. A bit aggressive, but always considering the other's perspective, that is the Chengmun clan. But this direction. Could it be that the four-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent cultivator is, in the distance, the skyline of the easternmost part of Byokra begins to appear? Yong Hyung. Are we going to use ropes for the kidnapping or do it stealthily? Let's do it stealthily. Translator notes, extraordinary pattern law talent, what a mouthful. Chapter 98, Lotus 6, Chapter 98, Lotus 6, Wuosh. Facing the sandstorm of Chinsik City attached to the heaven-treading desert, Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan packed a large cloth and scanned the area below. If my memory serves right, that's where the lady lived. Chengmun Ryong's gaze turns to an alley. Inside the alley is the white magic lotus artifact store that I have seen before. There it is. Could it be her? I sigh softly, pondering what to do. But Ryong Hyung, aren't there other clans' descendants in the alley? Indeed. As stated, the alley is packed with cultivators possessing consciousness. Even cultivators appearing to be at the Kai building stage are present. These pathetic ones, chasing after a woman. Now that the Chengmun clan is involved, let's snatch her away as flamboyantly as possible. Let's do that. Then, Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan leap down from the flying magic artifact shaped like a ship, cutting through the sandstorm. The extraordinary pattern law talent is required by our main house. We will take her to the Chengmun clan. What? What is? At the booming shout of Chengmun Dan, the surrounding cultivators flinch and look up at the sky. No one dares to stand against the mid-Kai building aura of Chengmun Dan. Even a cultivator at the early Kai building stage grimaces but remains still. And when Chengmun Dan unfurls the cloth. I don't know what business my daughter has with you, but that will be a bit inconvenient. Rumble, a surge of white spiritual energy approaches. Chengmun Dan flinches, crossing his arms to block the wave of spiritual energy, which writhes and transforms into a huge tiger, blocking Chengmun Dan and Chengmun Ryong. The two retreat to the top of buildings, looking down at the tiger. Kugagugu? This is Kai building late stage. The tiger made of spiritual energy also leaps into the sky, and from the dissipating spiritual energy tiger, a middle-aged man in white emerges. He wears a white robe, a blue ring-turned necklace around his neck, and various glass magic artifacts on his wrists. I am the guest elder of the Gongmyo clan, Buk Jung-ho. I'm unsure what the Chengmun clan wants with my daughter, but I ask for a formal request rather than such rash actions. A guest elder of the Gongmyo clan, the individual governing this Chinsik city. Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan step back, and I remember him, that Kai building cultivator who tried to recruit me to the Gongmyo clan. He was her father. Our clan has come for. Chengmun Ryong slowly explains their purpose to Buk Jung-ho. After listening for a while, Buk Jung-ho nods. So you tried to kidnap my daughter for that reason. I'm a bit angry, but I'll tolerate it for the sake of the Chengmun clan. Indeed, my daughter is in trouble because of the clan descendants. Buk Jung-ho frowns for a moment and then speaks. However, even if I wanted to let my daughter go to the Chengmun clan, she will refuse to go. What do you mean? Chengmun Ryong asks in surprise. Buk Jung-ho rubs his temples, looking vexed. It's due to her mother's last will. She told us to wait for a betrothed who promised to marry my daughter in Chinsik City and would come with a token. Hence, she won't leave Chinsik City to honor her mother's last will. Chengmun Ryong frowns and asks, is there no way? It's an important matter instructed by our clan head. If it's for a few days, she might, but she won't leave Chinsik City for several months for such a matter. If you try to kidnap her against her will, you'll have to fight me. After pondering for a moment, Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan both sigh lightly. We understand. We'll just have to study the magic artifacts in Chinsik City. What do you think, Taoist CEO? I have no objections. Well then, let's do that. Chengmun Ryong commands the clan descendants gathered in the alley below. You brats. The extraordinary pattern law talent artisan your surrounding has an artifact commissioned by the formal order using the name of the Chungmun clan. It is a multi-year project, so anyone disturbing the artisan will be punished in the name of the Chungmun clan. Scram! Upon hearing that, most of the late-stage cultivators furrow their brows. It's then. Among the late-stage cultivators, one who looks to be of a similar physical age to me floats into the air and respectfully greets Chungmun Ryong. It is an honor to meet cultivator Chungmun Ryong, one of the three greats of Kai building. Yes, I am also honored to meet cultivator Byok Munseong, the most talented late-stage heir of the Byok clan. You just barely missed being selected for the official ascension group of the Righteous Path Alliance, didn't you? Ha, I'm embarrassed. Byok Munseong, clad in a brown robe, strokes his unique long ponytail as he continues. However, I have something to say to cultivator Chungmun Ryong. Regardless of the Chungmun clan's affair right now, several late-stage cultivators from various clans and she are in the middle of a bet. Chungmun clan's matter is important, but the bet cannot be delayed. Could you please wait just a little longer? A bet. What kind of bet? Chungmun Ryong furrows his brow and asks, to which Byok Munseong replies with a sly smile. She has made a deal that if any of us late-stage cultivators can properly handle the magic artifact she's making, she'll end her long seclusion in Chinsik City and go on a trip with the cultivator who handled the magic artifact properly. Huh, so you mean to say that right now, when the Chungmun clan's affair is urgent, you plan to take the artifact artisan on a trip? Chungmun Dan glares at Byok Munseong with fiery eyes. Byok Munseong, still at early Kai building, steps back with an awkward smile. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I just want to secure a promise. It's fine to go on the trip after the Chungmun clan's affair is settled. Did cultivator Buck not object to his daughter traveling with a young man? At Chungmun Dan's words, Buck Jung-ho calmly speaks. I allowed it. I'm sad that my daughter is too confined to Chinsik City because of her mother's last words, so I told her to continue with the bet. Of course, I will accompany her. Chungmun Dan and Chungmun Ryong looks at me. Is it okay with you, Taoist Seo? I look at Byok Munseong and ask. How long will this bet take, approximately? Ah, well, that's when it happens. Pad, a bright light bursts from within White Magic Lotus. Ah, it seems the magic artifacts have just been completed. If you could wait just half a day, the bet will be over. I nod. All right, that's fine. Chungmun Dan and Chungmun Ryong also nod, and we decide to watch how the bet unfolds for half a day. After a while, I feel spatial fluctuations from the space inside the magic artifact store. It feels similar to space compression. Perhaps the inside is larger than the outside. I recall when I went to kill the previous emperor of Yangyuo. Even the emperor who was only at the Kai refining stage had hidden in a pavilion that was larger on the inside. Is that magic artifact store itself a kind of space-like artifact? After a while, the door of the magic artifact store opens, and the late-stage cultivators from various clans and Byok Munseong enter the store. Chungmun Ryong and Chungmun Dan also enter the store after getting permission from Buck Jung-ho. I too enter the store after getting permission. Wooash, wo-woong, as the spatial feature on the store itself activates, the appearance of the store completely changes from the last time I entered. On a large platform are flags, swords, mirrors, bells, scrolls, wheels, and more. Numerous forms of magic artifacts are displayed, and as expected, she in white stands on the platform, looking down at us. Haha, indeed, the magic artifacts of Miss Buck are different just from the aura they emit. Byok Munseong exclaims in admiration as he looks at the artifacts. Indeed, as promised, if someone can properly handle these magic artifacts, Cultivator Buck will agree to travel with that cultivator. Don't worry, Cultivator Byok. However, as I mentioned earlier, I will set the standard for properly handling. Understood, I would like to hear the standards. She lifts a bell-shaped magic artifact and infuses it with spiritual power. Pat. A bright blue light emits from the bell, coloring the surroundings and casting a semi-transparent water curtain around her. 10 stripes appear on this water curtain. The magic artifacts I have created will show 1 stripe for each 10th of their power unleashed. Thus, if any of you with any magic artifact I made can bring forth more than 60% of its power, I will consider the standards met. Ha ha ha, 60%? Byok Munseong laughs aloud. How amusing. Even if the magic artifacts made by Cultivator Buck are impressive, do you think the distinguished heirs from various clans gathered here cannot draw out even 60% of a magic artifact's power? Not just Byok Munseong, but snickers can be heard from around the room. This means everyone will likely draw out 60%, so we should determine the winner of the bet by who can enhance the magic artifact's performance the most. A late-stage cultivator from the Gongmyo clan chuckles. However, she looks at him coldly and says, "Well, I was worried that setting the standard at 60% might be too high and would be criticized. I wonder how many among you here can actually bring out even 20% of my magic artifact's power." What? The Gongmyo clan cultivator's face turns beet red upon hearing this. Are you mocking me? No, wasn't it you who started the mockery? Suddenly, her demeanor changes. The soft and gentle look disappears, replaced by a fierce glare that dominates the room. How dare you stand before my magic artifacts and say that anyone can draw out 60% of their power? Do you think my magic artifacts are that easy if there are those among you who saw the failures displayed in White Magic Lotus and thought my magic artifacts are trivial? Please leave now. I do not wish to speak with those who cannot recognize the true value of my magic artifacts. Under her intense presence, the Gongmyo clan heir seems to flinch and then, thumping his chest, steps forward. Fine, then I'll be the first to test the magic artifacts. After all, a magic artifact is just a magic artifact. How impressive can it be? He climbs onto the platform and grabs a flag-shaped magic artifact, Wuong, and after a while, Fizz. The magic artifact looks to light up, but then, just as quickly, the light goes out and it droops lifelessly. What? Full of confidence, yet you can't even activate the magic artifact. No. Ugh, I'm just not used to a flag-shaped magic artifact. The late-stage cultivator from the Gongmyo clan goes around, touching other magic artifacts and infusing them with spiritual power. But, just like the first, none of the magic artifacts light up, they just fizzle out. The only one that even showed a sparkle was the mirror-shaped magic artifact he bragged he was most familiar with, but even that failed to produce a single stripe indicating 10% power. This is a scam? What kind of magic artifacts are these? It's not meant for use. He shouts at her, but she just smiles and replies, "If you lack skill, at least have some manners. Please step down. There is not a single magic artifact here that you can handle." Ugh. Spiritual power of the earth attribute escapes from around the Gongmyo clan heir. I look at Buk Jung-ho and ask, shouldn't we intervene? But Buk Jung-ho clicks his tongue and crosses his arms. No need. My daughter's magic artifacts are all difficult to draw power from, but Kwang, the Gongmyo clan cultivator, unable to hold back, casts a spell, Kurururu. However, his spell is blocked by the water curtain produced by her magic artifact, disappearing without a trace. 10 stripes are floating on the water curtain. If you can properly draw them out, it boasts considerable performance. In fact, even I, her father, can only draw up to 80% of the power from my daughter's magic artifacts. Pride fills Buk Jung-ho's face. A person without manners, skill, or character is trash. Please leave. Wuong. At her gesture, several magic artifacts floats in the air, displaying 10 stripes and point at the Gongmyo clan cultivator. The Gongmyo clan cultivator's face reddens and then turns pale, but he soon descends from the stage amidst the jeers of other clan descendants. Kukuk knew that Guy would be like this. What was he thinking, trying to handle a magic artifact? Even in the Gongmyo clan, known for their magic artifacts, he's famous for not being able to handle them. After rearranging the magic artifacts, she looks around the audience and asks, "Is there anyone else?" And then, without exception, everyone starts to challenge her magic artifacts. An outstanding magic artifact artisan indeed. Chungmun Ryong strokes his goatee and comments, "Absolutely trustworthy. Isn't she somewhat of a magic artifact genius?" It seems no one can properly draw out the power of the magic artifacts. Indeed, many late-stage cultivators tried, but the one who managed to draw out the most power from a magic artifact could only reach 20%. However, Chengmun Ryong is unimpressed. Outstanding, yes, but such magic artifacts can be crafted by any high-level refiner. Compared to Gongmyo Chinsik, who was absolutely wild, it's clear she's still far behind. Gongmyo Chinsik used to brag to me about the magic artifacts he created, and compared to him, this law pattern artisan still has a long way to go. Chengmun Ryong critically assesses her. It seems she deliberately made the circuits of the magic artifacts complex and difficult, whereas Gongmyo Chinsik's are simple yet elegant. Chengmun Ryong looks to have some expertise in magic artifacts, evaluating them from a distance. Complex spiritual energy circuits allow one to create powerful magic artifacts from ordinary materials, but whether those are truly good magic artifacts is another question. Buk Jung-ho nods somberly at Chengmun Ryong's words. You are right. My daughter still falls short compared to elder Gongmyo Chinsik, but there is a reason she makes the circuits complex. Please understand that. All right, as long as she handles the clan matters properly. Chengmun Ryong nods. Soon, a gloomy air falls over the faces of the many cultivators gathered in the magic artifact store. Among them, even the few outstanding ones couldn't draw out more than 20% of a magic artifact's power, let alone 60%. As things turn out this way, some give up even before trying. This is a scam. What nonsense is this? The crowd's mood grows hostile, but they are subdued by the presence of Buk Jung-ho, Chengmun Ryong, Chengmun Dan, and myself watching from the back. Then, breaking through the crowd, one person steps forward. Cultivator Byok has stepped up. That's right. If it's a Kai building cultivator, maybe? It's Byok Munseong who had gathered the cultivators, truly living up to her reputation. I have seen the magic artifacts of Miss Buk, but, honestly, only drawing out 60% of a magic artifact's power seems too easy, doesn't it? He chuckles and climbs onto the stage, examining the magic artifacts. If you're at Kai building, understanding how to handle magic artifacts comes naturally. Even if you had set the condition at 90%, it would have been insufficient. Then, Byok Munseong lifts a flying sword magic artifact. Let me show you the skill of a Kai building cultivator. Wuong, his pure spiritual force surges into the flying sword. The sword begins to shine, revealing stripes. 1 stripe, 2, and then 3. Wow, 3 stripes? Is this what a Kai building cultivator can do? No one else could draw out even 30% of the power. But the stripes don't stop there. 4 stripes, already 40%. However, the smile gradually fades from Byok Munseong's face. How far will this go? Pat. As Byok Munseong pours in more pure spiritual force, a 5th stripe appears on the magic artifact. 50%. Look, Cultivator Byok might just meet the standard. But not only me, Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan, even Buk Jung-ho sneer or click their tongues. It's evident that Byok Munseong is struggling. TCH, pouring in power without understanding. I could draw out 70% myself. Chengmun Ryong clicks his tongue and mutters, attracting the scornful glances of many. However, most recognize Chengmun Ryong as one of the top 3 in Kai building, and many turn their heads back with murmurs. And then, blink, blink. As Byok Munseong's face reddens, the 6th stripe faintly flickers and appears on the flying sword. Then, fish. The light on the flying sword goes out. It's done. Look, Miss Buk, I have drawn out 60% of the flying sword's power. However, her face remains cold. 60%? Are you sure what you've shown is really 60%? The stripes were visible, weren't they? She seems to ponder for a moment, and the crowd becomes on edge, awaiting her decision. Frustrated, I blurt out without thinking, the sword. Why handle it like that? Swoosh, I flinch, I look around as numerous eyes are now focused on me. Unlike the looks directed at Chengmun Ryong, these stares linger. Byok Munseong, having heard my comment, looks at me. No one dares to speak recklessly to me, a Kai building cultivator, but their faces are filled with dissatisfaction. Then Byok Munseong, wiping sweat from his forehead, speaks. It seems you're around my age, fellow cultivator. How can you be so presumptuous? I apologize if it sounded unpleasant. I just spoke without thinking, as I usually handle the sword. Oh, you're a sword cultivator, but I, Byok Munseong, pride myself on being a sword cultivator too. How can a stranger criticize my way? Sword cultivator. It seems he's referring to a cultivator who practices sword methods like flying sword skills. So, Cultivator Byok, you mean to say you've primarily trained in flying sword techniques? Yes, I'm known as the sword genius of the Byok clan, having entered the Kai building stage. Seeing you're likely in early Kai building, I suppose I have a higher understanding of swords than you, don't I? You shouldn't speak so thoughtlessly. I flinch. I was going to let it go, however. Debating sword understanding in front of me, I approach the stage with a stern expression. What? I pick a sword-shaped magic artifact from among those on the stage and infuse it with pure spiritual force. Watch the sword. Wuang is used like this. As I infuse the sword with power, it emits light. Stripes appear one by one. The stripes reach 3, 4, and 5. Ha ha ha, if that's all. And then the 6th stripe appears. Byok Munseong and the late-stage cultivators from various clans widen their eyes. A clear 6th stripe. But I continue to infuse the sword with power. My pure spiritual force is considerably stronger than Byok Munseong's, and my understanding of the sword alone is enough to draw out the sword magic artifact's power. Ku-woom. The 7th stripe appears. Byok Munseong stares at the sword I am holding as if his eyes will pop out, and she too looks at me with considerable interest. The 8th stripe. Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan are also surprised, and Byok Munseong forces out a deflated laugh. The 9th stripe. Buk Jung-ho, watching from behind, is also startled and focuses more intently on my sword. And then, Koom! The sword magic artifact surges with energy, forming the final 10th stripe. I have perfectly drawn out 100% of the magic artifact's power. Ha ha ha. Byok Munseong steps back a few paces with a defeated expression, his face filled with defeat and a mix of anger and humiliation. Clap, 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 clap. She smiles brightly and claps her hands. Amazing. Until now, no one but the creator myself has been able to fully draw out the power of these magic artifacts. Wuong. I don't pay attention to her words and infuse even more spiritual power into the sword. Dare to talk about sword understanding in front of me, I'll show them. What it means to be a sword cultivator, forget everything except the sword in front of you, Koom. The sword vibrates wildly, and above the 10 stripes, an 11th stripe appears. Wah! Even she, who has been calm until now, changes her expression. How? But I focus on the sword, not paying attention to her. Hundreds of spiritual energy circuits are visible within the sword. I don't concern myself with the unknown circuits. The important thing is the essence of the sword, a weapon for cutting, stabbing, and swinging. How to maximize the power of that tool to its limit. That is, to swing the tool until it becomes one with my arm. Severing mountain swordsmanship, first move, transcending peaks. Pack, when I take the stance and swing the sword magic artifact, a total of 12 stripes appear on it. She completely loses her composure and stares intently at the sword in front of me. How is this possible? I never set it to produce such output. 120%. What have you done? I think 13, even 14 might be possible. Woong. I withdraw my pure spiritual force and continue. But the sword might break. It appears that 120% is the maximum limit for this magic artifact before it breaks. It's a good artifact. I hand the sword back and step away. Byok Munseong beside me avoids my gaze with a look of defeat and anger. Far away, Chengmun Ryong and Chengmun Dan look astonished by my skills, while Buk Jung-ho looks at me with an expression of disbelief. It seems the winner is decided. What is your name, sir? She momentarily looks at the sword I have handed her and then speaks to me. My name is Seo Yunhyun, just call me Cultivator Seo, but initially I was not a participant in this bet. Not a participant? From the moment you entered the magic artifact shop, you were a participant. Among the others here, is there anyone who can draw out the power of magic artifacts like Cultivator Seo? No one responds. It seems there isn't. Then, as Cultivator Byoke previously spoken, I shall give the right to Cultivator Seo. Do as you please. Byoke Munseong spits out his words and then leaves the magic artifact shop. Many late-stage cultivators also follow him, and among them, the descendants of the Chungmun clan are caught by Chungmun Dan and begin receiving discipline in a corner of the magic artifact shop. Anyway, you have proven that you can handle my magic artifacts properly, so I will give all these magic artifacts to you. She points to the artifacts on the stage, and I look at them for a moment before saying, I'm sorry, but I don't need them. Excuse me? I don't use magic artifacts. With an overwhelmingly superior alternative like the formless sword, why would I use something like a magic artifact? By the way, do you remember me, Cultivator Buck? You once gave me water and clothes. Are you ignoring my magic artifacts now? But my words change her mood. She's feeling humiliated. No, that's not it. Didn't you say you were a sword cultivator? Not using my magic artifacts means you find them unsatisfactory, right? What's this? Does having a similar talent to Mad Lord also mean she's mad as well? I feel perplexed and try to explain, but she speaks with an angry expression. Wait a moment, if you're not satisfied with these flying swords, I'll give you something better. I'll show you my successful creations. No, that's not necessary. Whoosh. She runs into the back of the magic artifact shop, and Buck Jung-ho approaches, clicking his tongue. My daughter is usually kind and gentle, but her personality changes a bit when it comes to magic artifacts. She has great pride in the magic artifacts she's created herself, so please understand. Isn't this reaction a bit too much? Well, that's because you're the only one who has drawn out 120% of the power of her magic artifacts. Since you're the first person she's seen do this, it seems her pride won't allow her to accept you not using her magic artifacts. Soon, she comes back from inside the shop, carrying an armful of sword magic artifacts, and lays them out in front of me. Each one emits a respectable spiritual aura and are so splendid they take one's breath away. These are the sword magic artifacts I'm most proud of. Please try holding one and then decide. Her face is brimming with confidence. Unable to bear her expression, I pick up one of the swords. Woong. As I infuse power into the sword, a rainbow of spiritual energy covers the inside of the magic artifact shop. Although stripes do not appear like before, I feel that I am drawing out more power than the magic artifact has. She too must feel it, as she looks at the sword I am holding with a mesmerized gaze. I apologize, but I really don't need magic artifacts. Excuse me? I flinch. I sense a chill flash in her eyes. Her confident smile cracks and veins throb on her forehead. Ha ha ha, how do you feel crushing the pride of an artifact artisan, Taoist Seo? Chungmun Ryong flies onto the stage and speaks. When two Kai building cultivators stand before her, she conceals her chilling demeanor and changes her expression. Taoist Seo and I would like to entrust the owner of White Magic Lotus and the person endowed with the extraordinary pattern law talent with a task. What kind of task might that be? Taoist Seo and I intend to develop a certain formation, and for that, we need to create formation magic artifacts. Can you help us? She nods in agreement. Of course. However, isn't formation development a field that takes quite some time? That's right. Hence, Taoist Seo and I will stay in Chinsik City to work on this project with you. It might take several years. After nodding, she looks at me. So, while developing the formation artifacts, I'll also develop something that will satisfy Taoist Seo. No, really, I don't need any. Chungmun Ryong pokes me in the waist to stop me. His telepathy reached my ears. How much do you plan to crush the artisan's pride, Taoist Seo? Having a magic artifact wouldn't be bad, just accept it. All right then. I appreciate your effort, but I'm not in a position to afford such artifacts. Since you didn't like the artifacts you won for the bet, I'm making you a replacement. My pride is at stake, and since Cultivator Seo has shown new potential for my artifacts, I will make it for free. Speechless, I just stare at a spot in the magic artifact shop. Anyway, I look forward to working with you. My name is Buck Hyung Hwa. My name is Seo Yoon Hyun. I appreciate your cooperation. Stay strong, Cultivator Byoke. Our clan elders say that Cultivator Buck's talent corresponds to the 4 pattern among the extraordinary pattern law talent. True demonic talent begins to manifest from 1 pattern. 4 pattern is just considered a level of an outstanding prodigy, so there's no need to be too disheartened, right? Byok Munseong is receiving consolation from the other cultivators. Haha, thank you for your consolation, friends. Well, it's unfortunate this time, but if there's another fun event, please call me, Cultivator Byok. I'll see you later. As Byok Munseong's mood seems to brighten a bit, the cultivators each ride their flying artifacts and return to their clans. Later. Byok Munseong's face suddenly contorts in anger. Fools! She's not just a simple 4 pattern. Why did I drag those guys around, bothering and annoying her? Kwang, he stomps in anger and gnaws his teeth. I can't let some unknown guy take her. If I can make her, who possesses demonic talent like that monster mine, becoming a clan head isn't just a dream. He bites his lips and walks into an alley. Let's wait for her to go on a journey. I still have a chance. Serving Command Palace. In the inner meeting room of the magic artifact shop, Buck Hyunghwa, who received the formation diagram, is startled. The creation of the legendary artisan. Yes. We need to create a formation that will stimulate growth for a spiritual tree inside, and you must create the formation artifacts for that. Chungmun Ryong, Buck Hyunghwa, and I sit at a table discussing the formation. After a while, she asks seriously, "Can we enter Serving Command Palace?" If I could see the dragon veins and qualities with my own eyes, it would be easier to create suitable magic artifacts. Additionally, Serving Command Palace is known as a treasure. If we can borrow its power for the formation artifacts, we can create even more effective ones. However, Chungmun Ryong shakes his head. Serving Command Palace only appears once every 400 years. It will be several hundred years before it appears again. Ah, but I know a secret way to enter. At my words, Chungmun Ryong looks surprised and Buck Hyunghwa's face brightens. What kind of method is it? Ah, I just need to ask a friend of mine. I take out a communication device connected to Co Ran. The day turns to evening. I reached out to Co Ran, and along with Chungmun Ryong, we continued to discuss and sketch out the formation diagrams. Buck Hyunghwa announced she would create the basic magic artifacts for the formation and entered her workshop. Sigh. After finishing the discussion with Chungmun Ryong, I briefly step out of the meeting room. He always has an overwhelming number of questions. Chungmun Ryong is known for his inquisitiveness, constantly asking, "Why do you think that way?" This habit persisted even during our discussions on formations. His sharp questions can be piercing at times, but they also bring a sense of nostalgia, as if revisiting the past. The past, once gone, never returns. This fact remains true, even for someone who has experienced regression. Lost in such gloomy thoughts, I hear a noise. Clang, clang, from Buck Hyunghwa's workshop inside the magic artifact shop. The sound of a hammer striking echoes. Buck Hyunghwa is quite remarkable. To create magic artifacts, she hammers away beside the intense heat of the flames, her being a woman notwithstanding. I casually approach her workshop and stealthily observe her working. Creak, creak. She's carefully engraving something on a formation flag artifact, and then she proceeds to hammer and shape something new. Suddenly, I notice something blossoming on her face. FZZZT. It's a 4-colored pattern. This pattern, resembling tree branches, bore colors of gold, purple, light pink, and black. The black and purple patterns interwoven create a semi-blended appearance. That must be 4 pattern. Amidst the sparks, her figure, forging magic artifacts while adorned with 4 colors, continually captivates my attention. In the midst of this, suddenly our eyes meet. "Ah, Cultivator Co, have you come? I have something to ask of you." "What would that be?" "Here, whoosh." She goes deeper into her workshop and returns with a large box, placing it before me. Creak. Upon opening the box, it contains numerous unfinished sword magic artifacts. These are artifacts I made, inspired by seeing you with the previous swords. All these crafted in just half a day. Buck Hyunghwa, with a confident expression, Adds, "These are specially made for you, Cultivator CO. They're not finished yet, but I bet they won't easily unleash their full power this time. Why not try infusing them with your spiritual power?" With a slight smile, I pick up one of the swords. Once again, I channel pure spiritual force into the sword. As expected, the sword glows, emitting more than 120% of its intended output. I wonder if she will be disappointed. I feel sorry for defying her expectations. As I'm about to speak to her, Buck Hyung HWA, in a daze, watches the sword as it releases strength beyond its limits. Her mouth continuously moves, muttering something about artifacts, and her eyes are fixated on the sword. She must have gained some inspiration. Just then, Woong. The four-colored pattern reappears on her skin. Four pattern may only be considered equivalent to the level of a prodigy, but it seems to be a talent far surpassing ordinary magic artifact artisans. Suddenly, I shudder, observing her in her trance-like state. The intertwined purple and black patterns look to be merging together. Chapter 99, Lotus 7, Chapter 99, Lotus 7, Chi Hat. However, at some point she regains her senses and the two patterns that were merging return back under her skin. What was that? Miss, are you all right? Oh, I'm fine. Just needed a moment to think. She smiles briefly, then takes the magic artifact from me again. If you don't like this one either, let's use this failure as a learning experience and try again next time. She takes the magic artifacts and goes back into her workshop. She doesn't know how to give up. I let out a light sigh. I've said several times that I don't need a magic artifact. Is she stubborn or just not understanding? I find a subtle sense of kinship in her persistence and unwittingly smile lightly. I get a message from CO Ran 3 days later. I can let you use the Nether crossing ship, but in exchange, give me spirit stones. I immediately tell the news to the Chungmun Ryong. The Nether crossing ship? Chungmun Ryong, shocked, quickly communicates back to the Chungmun clan head through sound transmission, and a few days later, Kung at Chinsik City, the Chungmun clan head, Chungmun Yongjin, personally arrives with 80,000 spirit stones. Is it true that just by offering spirit stones, one can have a chance to ride the famous Nether crossing ship? He asks, placing the storage artifact filled with spirit stones on the ground, addressing me and Chungmun Ryong. I nod. Yes, a senior I know has agreed to allow a one-time ride on the Nether crossing ship. However, it's important to know that this Nether crossing ship is a wreck from a battle with the Mad Lord. I'm aware. The tale of the Mad Lord facing the Black Ghost Valley alone is known to everyone in the cultivation world. Nevertheless, I'm eager to ride the Nether crossing ship. Even if it's ruined, the honor of riding the ship from the Black Ghost Valley that swept the seas is immense. Chungmun Yongjin speaks with a hint of excitement, uncharacteristic of his usual solemn demeanor. The prospect of riding the Nether crossing ship excites not only Chungmun Yongjin, but also Chungmun Ryong and Buck Hyung HWA. That legendary artisan's replica ship. To be able to see the Nether crossing ship. I look at them slightly awkwardly, thinking to myself. I have entered the Nether crossing ship several times with CO Ran. In my past life, I had even personally sailed it a few times, so it doesn't feel like a big deal to me. But it seems the Nether crossing ship's value is much greater than I thought. Several days pass. I fly to the Black Wind Sea with Buck Hyung HWA, Chungmun Ryong, and Chungmun Yongjin. Buck Jung-ho wanted to join with his daughter, but as he's responsible for overseeing Chinsik City, he couldn't leave easily and just entrusted us with her safety. Just head in that direction. Understood. We boarded Chungmun Yongjin's flying magic artifact shaped like a ship, and I guided them towards the Nether crossing ship. Didn't Miss Buck say she wouldn't leave Chinsik City? I ask, looking at Buck Hyung HWA. Technically, I don't take on important duties that require me to be away for months. It only takes a few days to visit serving Command Palace, so I joined this journey. I see. Your father mentioned that you don't like to be away from Chinsik City for long periods due to your mother's last wish. Yes, that's right. She plays with the jade-colored norigi tied around her waist. My mother was also an artifact artisan. Before I was born, she made a pact with her friend to make their sons sworn brothers if both had sons, make their daughters sworn sisters if both had daughters, and arrange a marriage if they had a son and a daughter. She looks at the Norigi while facing the sea breeze. This is a magic artifact made by my mother. It was made in pairs, and she said the other one would be with my destined partner. According to my mother's last wish, I've been waiting at Chinsik City, which is why I don't like to leave the city. I see. I smile at her. I hope that someday your destined partner appears before you. Thank you. Buk Hyung-hwa smiles, holding the accessory. Kurung soon, Chungmun Youngjin's flying artifact enters the sea area where the Nether Crossing ship resides. There should be a barrier ahead. Just break through it. Understood. Chungmun Youngjin looks around, then precisely steers the flying artifact towards the location of the barrier and flies into it. Q Wuong, the flying artifact hits the air as if it's striking something, and we enter inside the barrier. It's a big ghost. The big ghost has appeared. Once again, the ghosts within the barrier call me a big ghost and seem to jump around, but they don't dare to approach due to Chungmun Youngjin's presence. After piercing through several layers, we finally break through the last barrier and arrive at the location of the Nether Crossing ship. Chak! Wow, is that the Nether Crossing ship? Ho, that is the one from Black Ghost Valley, the replica of the masterpiece created by the legendary craftsman. Above the Nether Crossing ship, there stands a figure, Song Jin. It's Song Jin, exuding the aura of core formation, welcoming us. Chungmun Youngjin's expression turns serious upon sensing Song Jin's aura, which is even stronger than his in the late stage of core formation. Hello, Elder Song Jin. Where's Taoist Seo Ran? He is gathering yin energy and ghostly energy from the deep sea as I instructed. He should be absorbing yin energy in the depths, practicing his cultivation method by now. I see. After answering me, Song Jin turns his attention to the spirit stone box held by Chungmun Youngjin. It takes 10,000 spirit stones to launch the Nether Crossing ship once. Another 10,000 for a single spatial travel. That's 20,000 in total. Another 20,000 for the return journey, plus the privilege cost of stepping onto the Nether Crossing ship of the Black Ghost Valley, another 20,000 spirit stones. A total of 60,000 spirit stones. It's an enormous cost. What is this? I understand. I was about to object, but Chungmun Youngjin nods and hands over the 60,000 spirit stones to Song Jin. This junior presents these spirit stones to the elder of the Great Black Ghost Valley. Good, a well-mannered one. Unlike that bandit who demanded the Nether Crossing ship out of nowhere, you have a different level of integrity. Chungmun Youngjin looks puzzled, and I avoid Song Jin's gaze. Are you from the Chungmun clan? If you are descendants of Changho, it makes sense. Well, I also owe Changho, so I'll reduce the cost by 2,000 spirit stones. Song Jin, noticing the Chungmun clan emblem on Chungmun Youngjin's clothes, returns 2,000 of the 60,000 spirit stones. Thank you, Elder. All right, where did you want to go? We wish to enter Serving Command Palace. Serving Command Palace? It's not the time for Serving Command Palace to open. Unless you're in the later stages of nascent soul, you can't break the prohibition of Serving Command Palace. Don't worry about that. I have the means. I take out a barrier-breaking scroll and Song Jin nods. If you say so. Let's go then. Song Jin takes the spirit stones and climbs near the steering wheel of the Nether Crossing ship. Kugagagugu. As Song Jin grabs the steering wheel, the spirit energy stored in the thousands of spirit stones begins to flow out. Pa-at. The spirit energy is sucked into the Nether Crossing ship, turning into ghostly energy and filling the ship's reserves. The Nether Crossing ship rattles and begins to gather yin wind around it. Enveloped in the yin wind, the giant ruined ship slowly rises into the air. Chungmun Youngjin and Chungmun Ryong watches the ship rise from the bow with amazement, while Buk Hyung-hwa looks at every corner of the Nether Crossing ship with curiosity. We're going. Pa-at. The Nether Crossing ship is engulfed in the wind and enters the space between, moving into the void. Swoosh. After a while in the void, we re-emerge into reality, transported above the western mountain ranges of Shengzi, spatial transmission through space. Let's see, the coordinates for serving Command Palace are around here. Song Jin holds the helm of the Nether crossing ship, looks around, and once again enters between the void path. We re-enter the outskirts of space. There, floating in the void, we can see a massive cylindrical palace. We have arrived at serving Command Palace, so soon. Is this the power of the Nether crossing ship? Chengmun Yongjin and Chengmun Ryong look amazed by the speed of the Nether crossing ship. I want to see more. Buk Hyung Hwa looks disappointed that she couldn't explore more of the Nether crossing ship. Let's enter the serving Command Palace now. Sigh, it's a shame, but what can we do? Her face, initially filled with disappointment, lights up with excitement again upon seeing serving Command Palace. Then I will anchor the Nether crossing ship next to serving Command Palace for 4 days. If you don't return within that time, I'll leave without you, so manage your time well. Understood. Chengmun Yongjin nods solemnly, and I take out the scroll. Pat. The golden prohibition of serving Command Palace's outer wall shatters. Chengmun Yongjin immediately raises his fist and strikes the outer wall of serving Command Palace. Kuo Wuong. Green light flashes, and the outer wall of serving Command Palace breaks open. We enter serving Command Palace through the newly created passage. Wow. As soon as we enter serving Command Palace, Buk Hyunghwa exclaims in awe. What is it? The inside of serving Command Palace's outer wall is just a corridor. Though it is impressively large due to spatial compression, it looks just like a plain corridor. Yet, something different seems to catch her eye. It's beautiful. She touches the decorations of serving Command Palace, the golden patterns flowing there, and the finely detailed spiritual energy circuits, with a mesmerized look in her eyes. This is the one made by the legendary artisan. She caresses the walls of serving Command Palace. After watching her for a moment, Chengmun Ryong, Chengmun Yongjin, and I discuss. Can you lead us to where the longevity fruit is said to be? Yes, I will do so. I lead the group to the botanical garden on the first floor of serving Command Palace. In the green-lit interior of the arboretum at its center stands a young longevity tree with a nearly ripe longevity fruit hanging on it. Oh, so this is the longevity fruit. Don't pick it, clan head. A fruit in this state won't extend life for even a year, let alone 100. I know, Chengmun Ryong. I was just tempted. Chengmun Yongjin, who was mesmerized by the longevity fruit, then notices several flowers on the tree and asks, if the formation you mentioned is completed, not only this longevity fruit, but also the other flowers could bloom and bear longevity fruits, correct? If the formation is perfectly completed, it might be possible. Good. Then, during these 4 days, Chengmun Ryong and Cultivator Seo will investigate serving Command Palace's environment and draft a formation layout, while the artifact artisan will plan the formation artifacts. I'll explore the upper floors of serving Command Palace since I'm here. Saying this, he flies towards the door leading to the second floor of serving Command Palace. I'll center my research around the longevity fruit and longevity tree, studying the nearby dragon veins and drafting a formation layout. Taoist Seo, please survey the outside of the arboretum and plan the external part of the formation. Understood. Then, I will also roam around and study serving Command Palace. Chengmun Ryong starts measuring around the longevity tree and drafting the formation layout, while I roam the outskirts of the first floor of serving Command Palace, planning an external formation to complement Chengmun Ryong's inner one. Buk Hyung Hwa follows me around, observing different parts of serving Command Palace. Ah, this is truly magnificent. Thank you for allowing me such a wonderful experience. She takes out a small tool from her artifact box and starts to analyze the walls of serving Command Palace and their inner spiritual energy circuits. Jalgrak. The wall is quickly dismantled, revealing the spiritual energy circuits within. Buck Hwa pulls out various unknown devices and begins disassembling and studying the circuits. It's nothing. It's all thanks to yourself. And, didn't you give water to me and my companion before? At my words, she pauses and looks at me. Oh, I'm sorry. I've offered water to so many desert travelers. I couldn't quite remember who you were. Haha, that's all right. We were really saved by your kindness. You've always been kind-hearted. I continue planning the formation while observing the dragon veins of serving command palace's outskirts. And Buck Hwa continues recording in her notebook as she examines different parts of serving command palace. The walls she dismantles will self-repair after a while, so there's no need to fix them. Buck Hwa also meticulously records the self-repairing process in her notebook. It's when we enter a different area. Jolt. Buck Hwa suddenly twitches. In her line of sight are the remnants of Mad Lord's puppets. See, could these be? She approaches the remains, trembling. They are all ruined scraps, but they don't appear as such in her eyes. The Mad Lord's puppets. She hurriedly ran to the debris with her eyes rolling, fiddling with and tearing apart the remains, then began to recklessly stuff them into her magic artifact bag. What a tremendous reaction! After all, to artifact artisans, the Mad Lord essentially stands at the pinnacle of their profession. Besides, a one-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, someone even more talented than Buck Hwa. It isn't strange that she's drooling over this. Are the Mad Lord's puppets proving to be of great help to you? Are you kidding, of course? Even his scraps are precious artifacts worth studying? Buck Hwa has earlier been using her equipment to tear apart and dissect the Mad Lord's puppets, but suddenly she sighs. It's a pity many parts are too damaged. It's helpful to be taking as many remnants as possible, but if there was even a slightly intact puppet remaining. Are you talking about intact remains? I suddenly recall a puppet from the Mad Lord that I had found when wandering the serving command palace. Right, there was one fairly intact puppet? Ah, come with me, miss. I know where to find an intact puppet. Really? Her face lights up with excitement. I take her to the place I have visited before, and there, just like before, is the puppet. A bee puppet the size of a human torso. It's relatively intact. Buck Hwa's hands tremble slightly. I can guess her feelings. She doesn't take apart the bee puppet right away, but first holds and looks it over. Inside, it seems only the circuits are slightly damaged. The exterior is intact, and aside from some minor damage, the internal parts are mostly intact. Joy lights up Buck Hwa's face. With a little bit of repair, it might be usable again. Oh, Buck Hwa, visibly thrilled, carefully places the puppet in her storage bag. Really, this place is a treasure trove. A treasure trove, indeed. When I first came here, there seemed to be nothing of use. The only object of hope was the one longevity fruit growing on the first floor. However, it seems that for someone like her, even this place can turn into a treasure trove. Definitely, for someone like Miss, this place is beneficial. Honestly, I just thought of these puppet remains as mere debris. Ahaha, it's not unreasonable to think that way. She continues collecting the surrounding remnants as she speaks. To those who don't need them, they're just trash, but I think differently. Buck Hwa picks up a small plate-like object from the floor, covered in numerous spiritual circuits. Even ordinary debris or trash becomes a treasure in the hands of someone with a connection, don't you think? In the hands of someone with a connection. I believe whether something is trash or not depends on fate and connection. That's why I think there's no real trash in this world. There are just things that haven't met their destined purpose or connection, and those that have. I'm quietly impressed by her perspective on fate, a view of fate different from mine. I just thought of it as something to escape from, but this is another perspective. Not just something to escape from, but something that gives value in itself. Fate, I'm lost in thought about fate when. Oh, why hasn't this part self-repaired yet? She has put the puppet remains in her storage bag and is now looking at the outer wall behind it. There's a small injury on the wall, exposing numerous spiritual circuits which have not self-repaired yet. Serving Command Palace should have an auto-repair function. Why hasn't this part? Buck Hyung HWA starts to dismantle that area with her tools. That's when it happens. Creak. A small compartment behind her opens. Simultaneously, a small hidden weapon springs out. A trap mechanism. Clang, I quickly dash over and deflect the hidden weapon. Ah, are you all right, miss? I'm fine, but... Her face has turned pale. Oops. When I rushed over to deflect the hidden weapon from behind her, the shockwave caused her to lean forward slightly, causing her tool to deeply embed itself in one of Serving Command Palace's spiritual circuits. I think I might have triggered something wrong. Is it serious? It's not so much serious as one of Serving Command Palace's hidden functions. Rumble seems to have activated. Suddenly, a strange pressure envelops the entirety of Serving Command Palace. This pressure circulates around, compressing the pure spiritual force in every part of my body. My spiritual power is restricted, and my cultivation drops from the early stage of Kai building to the early stage of Kai refining in an instant. Looking at Buck Hyung HWA, her internal spiritual power seems to have mostly dried up, reducing her almost to the state of a mortal. Has everyone's cultivation been reduced by one realm? Judging by the range, it seems that the entire Serving Command Palace has fallen into this state temporarily. As the clan head of the Chungmun clan, Chungmun Yongjin, being in the core formation realm, would have been restricted to Kai building, and Chungmun Ryong would have faced similar restrictions as me. It seems I've accidentally triggered some sort of restraint within Serving Command Palace. I apologize, miss. It's my fault for pushing you into it. No, it's my fault for recklessly meddling with Serving Command Palace's walls. I'll try to restore it to its original state. She hurriedly reinserts her elongated tool into the wall, trying to rectify the circuits. That's when I notice something. That is, inside Serving Command Palace, amidst the debris of the Mad Lord's puppets and other remnants of heavenly being cultivators, the guardian stone statues of Serving Command Palace begin to stir. Creak, creak. The statues are gradually repairing themselves and starting to rise into the air. Is this the effect of the restraint? It looks so. Since this pressure began, spiritual energy has started to flow back into these guardian statues. Miss, is it possible to completely undo the restraint? Yes, it's possible. I just need to reset the circuits, but it'll take some time. Understood. I sense the energy of the rising guardian stone statues. They seem to be in the early stages of Kai refining, probably because they're still recovering. But the longer this goes on, the more they'll regain their original strength by repairing their damaged body. I inspect my own condition. Wu-woong. My spiritual power is restricted and barely movable, but my internal energy is still flowing well. When I try forming a gang sphere, it forms without any issue. My martial skills are unaffected by the restriction on my spiritual power. Chapter 100. Lotus 8. Chapter 100. Lotus 8. I attempt to sweep away the statues with my formless sword, but I'm suddenly concerned about Buck Hyung HWA repairing the circuit behind me. I could sweep them away, but if she carelessly informs Chungmun Ryong or Chungmun Yongjin. I can already hear the word Taoist from Chungmun Yongjin, and I can imagine Chungmun Ryong saying, "Senior." That can't happen. I stop myself from drawing out the formless sword and just overlay Gang Kai in the air instead. Wuong. For Kai refining level puppets, 5 energies converging to the origin should be enough. Kwang. I swing wildly at the statues in front of me while overlaying Gang Kai in the air. The statues seem to resist, but because they have not fully recovered, they're swept away by the Gang Kai. Wuong. However, after destroying the statues, they automatically start repairing themselves, wrapped in a pale light. I hope Chungmun Yongjin and Chungmun Ryong are all right. Despite the restraint that reduces one's realm by one, Chungmun Yongjin would still be at Kai building, so there's no need to worry. But Chungmun Ryong will have fallen to Kai refining. Miss Buck, how much longer until the restraint is lifted? Almost done. Just pat. If I just repair this. As she manipulates the circuit with a tool resembling a pick, the circuit glows, and the oppressive pressure dissipates. Simultaneously, the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace, which were repairing themselves, collapse into ruins again. Phew, finally done. You've worked hard, miss. You're truly remarkable. Not at all, the Golden Order was just temporarily triggered and would have dissipated over time. I just hastened the process. Buck Hyung Hwa began to tidy up her tools, wiping the sweat off her forehead. Then Miss Buck, please wait here for a moment. I'll check if Chungmun Ryong is safe. Okay, please do so. She agrees readily, and I fly to the first-floor arboretum where Chungmun Ryong is likely to be. In the center of the arboretum, Chungmun Ryong is gathering would attribute spiritual energy, standing in the midst of a large formation. Around the outskirts of the formation lay the ruins of what appeared to be guardian statues. Cultivator Chungmun, are you all right? I am fine. The spiritual energy scattered here is of the wood attribute, and I was able to draw it into my formation and use spells since the dragon veins around here have already been investigated. It seems that the restraint was not a significant threat to Chungmun Ryong. What exactly was that just now? I'm relieved you're safe. What just happened was... Kugagagugu, from one side of the arboretum, a cracking sound rings out and Chungmun Yongjin arrives using the flying escape technique. What was that just now? Ah, clan head. Chungmun Ryong looks at Chungmun Yongjin. I explain the situation to him. So, that extraordinary pattern law talent caused this phenomenon in Serving Command Palace by tampering with its circuit. Yes, that's correct. After my explanation, Chungmun Yongjin seems to ponder for a moment before speaking. Where is she now? She's currently on the outskirts of Serving Command Palace. Lead me to her. I need to verify something. I guide Chungmun Yongjin back to Buck Hyung Hwa. Ah, clan head. What brings you here? There's something I need to discuss. I understand you triggered the restraint, causing this phenomenon in Serving Command Palace. Yes, that's correct. He strokes his chin thoughtfully and says, when that phenomenon occurred, I was examining the upper levels of Serving Command Palace and discovered something strange. Something strange? Yes, at the top floor of Serving Command Palace, a peculiar barrier revealed itself. It seems that Serving Command Palace has something that can be revealed by triggering the special restraint. He then asks Buck Hyung Hwa. Can you trigger that phenomenon again? It's possible. Then you'll need to trigger it right when I give the signal. Oh, that should be no problem. She begins to explain. The restraint I triggered seems to be one of the main golden orders forming the axis of Serving Command Palace. Judging by its state, there appears to be at least 3 more corresponding golden orders. These axes exist all around Serving Command Palace, and each floor of the palace is formed along these axes. If I go up to the top floor of Serving Command Palace with the clan head and trigger this order again, that should do it. Understood. And... He looks at me. Come with us. Since the external formation you're responsible for isn't as critical as the one Ryong is handling, protect the artifact artisan. It seems when the order is activated, the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace will start moving again. I understand. Curious about the barrier Chungmun Yongjin has discovered, I follow him without complaint. Together with Chungmun Yongjin and Buck Hyung Hwa, we go up to the top floor of Serving Command Palace. Buck Hyung Hwa goes to the axis of the top floor of Serving Command Palace and begins to dismantle the wall there. The top floor is a bit narrower than the others, even considering the spatial compression, so I can see Chungmun Yongjin from a distance. He looks to be waiting for something in the center of the top floor of Serving Command Palace. I thought there was nothing there, but it seems I didn't know about something. Begin, Chungmun Yongjin roars with spiritual power, and upon hearing his command, Buck Hyung Hwa begins her work. Eyeing, as she fiddles with something in the circuit, an odd pressure circulates, compressing the spiritual power. Just then, in the center of the top floor of Serving Command Palace, where Chungmun Yongjin is waiting. Above that area, a white light bursts out, revealing a hidden barrier. What is that? I'm slightly surprised and observe the barrier closely. There was no change previously even with my demon senses, but the barrier appeared suddenly. Is it because my perception is weak? Or was it that the artisan who built Serving Command Palace was such a great being? It's unclear, but what's certain is that the barrier that appeared this time is an immense one. A dense spatial fluctuation. Inside that barrier, space is compressed again. If we enter, another place will appear. Suddenly, Chengmun Yongjin, who has been observing the barrier, suddenly throws a punch towards a weak point in the barrier. Kwaang. However, the barrier just vibrates and roars, showing no further reaction. I can see him muttering something from a distance. I couldn't hear him due to the distance, but judging from his lip movements, it looked like he was saying, even the power of Kai building can't break through it. Chengmun Yongjin continues to observe the barrier, and I destroy the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace that are rushing towards us. About 1 hour passes, and the order naturally subsides. When the order disappears, the barrier also vanishes, and Chengmun Yongjin flies back to us. Thank you for your cooperation. For now, go back down to the lower floors. Spend the remaining time working on your formations and magic artifacts. He looks towards the place where the barrier had appeared and murmurs. I will gather energy here for the next few days. The strength of Kai building can't break through the barrier, but if I gather enough for a few days and release it all at once with a secret technique of the Chengmun clan, it might rival a core formation strike for a moment. Understood. We nod and head back to inspecting various parts of Serving Command Palace, drafting diagrams for the formations. At the same time, the three of us gather for meetings about the formation. And so, 3 days pass. For now, I've completed the basic investigation of the surrounding area and the conceptualization of the inner formation. The external formation has also been designed. It will perfectly support Cultivator Chengmun's inner formation. I've also conceptualized magic artifacts that can maximize the formation by connecting it with Serving Command Palace. Somehow, we managed to finish all our tasks in a short time. Now we have to go back to Chinsik City to report on the formation, make adjustments, and realign the connection between the magic artifacts, external formation, and inner formation. And Chengmun Ryong looks upwards. Is it true that the clan head is trying to break the barrier on the top floor? Yes. It's dangerous to break a barrier directly connected to the palace's golden order without caution, especially with an ancient relic like Serving Command Palace. He expresses slight concern. If the analysis of the barrier had been entrusted to me, I could have done it quickly. It seems clan head thought the conception of the longevity fruit and longevity tree formation is considered more important. Indeed, the longevity fruit must be important to the clan head. I say, looking upwards with Chengmun Ryong. After a while, Chengmun Ryong frowns and speaks. This won't do. I need to go up and see for myself. There's not much time left, less than a day, but I still need to analyze the barrier. If the clan head accidentally triggers more of the palace's golden orders. With that, he heads upstairs, and Buck Hyung-Hwa and I follow him to the top floor. At the top floor, Chengmun Yongjin is there, infusing spiritual power into his right fist, waiting. His right fist shines brightly, vibrating the space around him. Is that the secret technique of the Chengmun clan? The power contained within it seems capable of delivering a blow equivalent to that of a nascent soul, even if just for a moment. Clan head, we have established the basic framework of the formations. What remains is to go back and refine the details. I came here upon hearing that you intend to break the barrier connected to the golden orders. He speaks earnestly to Chengmun Yongjin. However, tampering with a formation connected to a golden order can be dangerous. I know, Chengmun Ryong, but it will be disgraceful for a clan head to come all the way to Serving Command Palace and gain nothing. The Heavenly Being seniors have literally scraped everything clean. Only a few talismans, wine, and useless decorative artifacts remain, nothing else. Chengmun Ryong sighs lightly and says, could you give me time to analyze the barrier? If you do, I'll try to analyze it so you can strike where it's least problematic. All right, let's do that. Artisan. Trigger the golden order again and reveal the barrier. Yes. Buk Hyang Hwa, obeying Chungmun Yongjin's command, tears the wall again to trigger the Golden Order. Kurung, the Golden Order is triggered again, and the barrier appears. Chungmun Ryong examines the barrier closely, and each time the order's activation time ends, Buk Hyang Hwa repeats the process of triggering the Golden Order. A day passes like this. Clan head, you should strike this part. All right, it's about time for the Nether crossing ship to depart. Let's quickly check inside the barrier and leave. Kugagugu, the power gathered in Chungmun Yongjin's right fist looks ready to burst at any moment. All right, trigger the Golden Order again. Buk Hyang Hwa triggers the Golden Order once more. After several days of inspecting various parts of serving Command Palace and triggering the Golden Order at 4 axial points, Buk Hyang Hwa has become adept at freely turning the Golden Order on and off. The Golden Order is triggered, and the barrier appears. Chungmun Ryong points to a corner of the barrier. This part here. Even though the Golden Order has lowered its level, the power in Chungmun Yongjin's fist is still immense, comparable to that between nascent soul and core formation. Kugagugu. As Chungmun Yongjin swings his fist, the barrier shakes and begins to crack. A look of satisfaction appears on Chungmun Yongjin's face, and Chungmun Ryong, Buk Hyang Hwa, and I all look at the barrier with anticipation. Then, Chungmun Ryong's expression changes. Wait, clan head. Stop for a moment. Jiaying. A red light spreads from the barrier. Soon, the entire serving command palace is enveloped in the red light. Jaejong, the barrier finally shatters, but the red light from the barrier does not subside. What's happening, Chungmun Ryong? Didn't you say there would be no problems? Chungmun Yongjin looks at Chungmun Ryong in panic, and Chungmun Ryong grimaces and replies. There shouldn't have been a problem under normal circumstances, but it seems someone twisted the barrier from the inside artificially. I didn't anticipate this scenario. I apologize. First, let's secure an escape route. Chungmun Yongjin retreats from the barrier and strikes the outer wall of serving command palace, Kwang. The outer wall crumbles, and now only the outer wall's prohibition remains to be breached for escape. But the prohibition on the outer wall, it's changed. I grimace at the sight. The outer wall's prohibition is also dyed in a red light, and the barrier-breaking scroll I brought does not respond to the mutated prohibition. Chungmun Yongjin's face contorts in frustration. Damn it, it's almost time for the Nether crossing ship to depart. Can't we send a message out? But neither I nor Chungmun Ryong can do anything but shake our heads. Chungmun Yongjin, with a hardened face, turns back to look at the barrier he had shattered. First, we need to see what's inside. Outside serving command palace in the empty space. Song Jin, who has anchored the Nether crossing ship nearby, looks up at serving command palace. The entire city is enveloped in a deep red light. This reaction from the Golden Order. They must have tampered with serving command palace's control room. The agreed time is almost up, and with their abilities, they won't be able to break out of this Golden Order. Should I wait a bit longer out of mercy or not? After a moment of contemplation, Song Jin decisively grabs the steering wheel. Those who recklessly meddle with the control room without knowing their place, it's not my concern. I should go see my disciples' training. Besides, if they entered the control room, there should be an escape route, so there's no need to worry about them being trapped. Kugagugu. The Nether crossing ship begins to leave the void, enveloped in mist. Suddenly, Song Jin, holding the steering wheel, looks back at serving command palace. But it's been 800 years since I last entered serving command palace. Are the escape routes still intact? This place is. The inside of the barrier which we entered is a vast library, or more precisely, it was a library. They've scoured everything thoroughly. Chungmun Yongjin looks around with a hollow voice. The library is completely empty. The bookshelves are devoid of a single book, and dust has accumulated everywhere. This formation seems to be the one that twisted the barrier from the inside. It appears I misanalyzed because of this formation. On the floor, walls, and ceiling of the library, A bizarre formation drawn in blood cover the surroundings. It looks like a demon formation, but I don't know the demon script, so it's hard to identify. Chungmun Ryong examines the formation with a grimace. Chungmun Yongjin also scrutinizes the formation with a serious look. However, I shiver as I read the script and symbols on the formation. Isn't this a symbol of the Sea Dragon tribe? I have a hunch about who is behind this. Is it you again, Cohweol? What exactly is his goal? While I'm observing the formations, what does this stand for? Chungmun Yongjin points to a small stand in the center of the library. That stand. I look at the stand with intrigue. On top of the stand, there's a small indentation that perfectly matches the size of the serving command seal I had seen in my past life. If you insert the serving command seal there, does something activate? Let's investigate that area. Led by Chungmun Ryong, I and Buck Hyung-Hwa start to examine the stand. Chungmun Yongjin watches us with a serious expression. Suddenly, I notice small writing on one of the bookshelves near the stand. Is this ancient script? I had studied ancient languages while reading scrolls in the Royal Library of Shengzi, so I could identify the writing without difficulty. The inscription reads something like this: "Why even bother preparing the ascension blessing for maggots, so they can feast harder on high-quality corpses?" Is maggots the right translation? It was an ancient term meaning something like corpse-eating worms, so I interpreted it as maggots. The corpse-eating worms referred to here. Are the maggots meant to symbolize those who are preparing for ascension? Who left these words, and with what kind of sentiment or intention? I look around the writing for any mechanisms or formations, but find nothing and eventually dismiss it. While investigating the area, I found it. I've got it. Chungmun Ryong and Buck Hyung-Hwa exclaim almost simultaneously. Chungmun Ryong was inspecting the ceiling while Buck Hyung-Hwa tore open the floor under the stand, manipulating circuits. Wuong. At the same time, two white formations appear on the ceiling and floor. This is a teleportation array. Chungmun Yongjin and I mutter as we look at the formation. There was an escape route? A look of relief appears on Chungmun Yongjin's face, but Chungmun Ryong is still cautious. We don't know where this teleportation array leads. But do we have any other choice in the current situation? Chungmun Ryong, with a grim expression, eventually speaks. Even if we use this teleportation array, you do know that we need to endure the spatial pressure, correct? We don't have teleportation aid or talismans to withstand it. His words are spot on. Crossing through space means directly enduring the pressure from the outer limits of space. This is why only heavenly being cultivators dare to challenge the Ascension Gate. The spatial pressure inside the gate connecting to the higher realms is something only heavenly being cultivators can withstand. Chungmun Yongjin responds. I, having practiced the Chungmun clan's body refining techniques, can endure the spatial pressure. Chungmun Ryong looks around and speaks. But for Kai building cultivators, resisting the spatial pressure is impossible. That may be true. However, I can protect one person at a time using my skills and make use of the teleportation array. Chungmun Yongjin looks around at us and speaks. Since it's my mistake that led to this as the clan head, it's only right for me to take everyone out. I'll use the teleportation array to take one person at a time and then come back for the next. If I take each person one at a time, we can all escape. Chungmun Ryong's expression darkens at his words. But clan head, doing so might injure you. It's all right. It's my fault for entering the barrier out of greed, so I should take responsibility. I'll start by taking you with me, Chungmun Ryong. He then points to me and Buck Hyung-Hwa in turn. After I've taken Chungmun Ryong, I'll come back for you too. Wait here. I understand. Yes. Seemingly because of their kinship, Chungmun Yongjin decides to take Chungmun Ryong out first. It makes sense, and he indicates that he doesn't intend to abandon us, so we readily agree. Then let's see where this leads. Chungmun Yongjin, protecting Chungmun Ryong with his core formation power, jumps into the teleportation array below. The formation lights up, swallowing the two of them. It seems they have teleported successfully. Hopefully they didn't end up somewhere dangerous. Ah, at that moment. PSSH. The teleportation array used by Chungmun Youngjin fades and is extinguished. Buck Hyunghwa in a panic stutters as she looks at the formation. What just happened? Let me see. I examine the teleportation array, realizing the issue. Damn, it's a rechargeable teleportation array. Normally, it's maintained by drawing power from serving Command Palace, but once used, it needs time to recharge from the palace before it can be used again. Seemingly, Chungmun Ryong had missed this in his haste. I explain this to Buck Hyunghwa, who looks anxiously outside the barrier. Does it take a lot of time to recharge? Red light from outside the barrier is slowly creeping into our area. I bite my lip and nod. Buck Hyunghwa, pale-faced, continues. By the looks of it, once the red light fills serving Command Palace, a more powerful golden order might activate. Such orders usually involve lethal mechanisms. Is there really no way? I clench my teeth and look up at the teleportation array on the ceiling. Clearly, the teleportation array that Chungmun Ryong and Chungmun Youngjin used leads directly opposite of this one. But now we have no other choice. Miss Buck, there is one way. What is it? However, you must promise not to disclose this method to the Chungmun clan. Yes. Ah, you have a secret. I swear I won't disclose it. Then, Wuong, I grab the formless sword in my hand. Excuse me for a moment. I pull her closer with one arm and wrap both of us within the formless sword. I'll block the spatial pressure with the formless sword. Red light creeps towards us from outside the barrier. I glance outside briefly, then look up at the ceiling's teleportation array again. Here we go. Wait, hold on, you're too close. Pat. Enveloped in the formless sword, I jump into the radiance of the transmission array holding the two of us. Translator notes. We hit 100 chapters. The ancient inscription seems like a huge foreshadowing and the mystery deepens.